Yo, what up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry I'm late as usual, but my checking and savings wasn't lined up, so I had to do a quick little test screen. Make sure that the videos that I'm trying to play is going to play. Uh, so let me turn some volume knobs down for y'all. Let's see. Hopefully that's a little bit better. All right. Let's see what we got. What up, Raj? All right. So I'm still getting over this cold a little bit, so please forgive me. But we here. I'm hype. I've been binge watching like all Mission Impossible movies for like 3 days. So I got two left. The last one I didn't see. I mean, I seen it before, but like rewatch. I gotta watch Fallout again, the one with Henry Cavill. Um, the last one I saw was Rogue Nation, and then Dead Reckoning, which I didn't see since last year. So um, tonight, this is a continuation of Sunday. Basically, we're talking about Mission Impossible 8. We're gonna watch the Ringerverse, break it down, their reaction to the final reckoning. I'm gonna react to their reaction. That way, it's a little bit more dialogue going on. Maybe they caught some points I didn't pick up on. I don't know if they went back and rewatched stuff. So I tried to, like I said, to kind of make myself a little bit familiar because I mean, these things have been coming out since 96. And I guess I didn't really appreciate kind of like the whole catalog until I really started watching them back to back like this. So I mean, and you talking about putting people in there that was like coming up and coming. Tom Cruise, I'm not gonna say it's just him, but he sure knows how to pick certain people, certain actors and actresses to put in his stuff. So I think with Fallout, I think he put Henry Cavill in there after Superman had already came out, but like a lot of these people, like Jeremy Renner was in like three of them. You know what I mean? Before he was like really Hawkeye. And, I mean, dude just put like mad people in there. I forgot. Thady Newton was in one. She was in the second one. Completely forgot about that. So dude's been doing it for a long time. So we do have to appreciate Mission Impossible for sure. Y'all can let me know in the comments how you feel about Mission Impossible compared to like James Bond 007. Do you feel like it's equivalent? Do you feel like it's better? Do you feel like it's worse? Do you think it's cool that it's really been Tom Cruise this whole time and he's been doing his own stunts and kind of upping the ante every time, whereas I mean Tom Cruise is like in the 60s, whereas like now we're looking for another 007. May or may not be Henry Cavill, maybe somebody completely younger. So I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think and let me know like if y'all appreciate the cast. So um let's see. Well, so Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. Oh, you like Henry Cavill? Um okay, so nope, my bad. Yes, we're gonna talk about Mobland too, because the season one is finished. So we got to talk about that. Okay. But essentially, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is number 8, kind of in the installments. It's a part 2 from Dead Reckoning, which they didn't let us know like what the official title was until this year. And even though it says final, I'm not really sure if it's really final. But we'll talk about that. And basically, they did introduce Haley Atwell, who is Captain Britain, basically in Marvel. They introduced her into the last one. She's kind of his Ethan Hunt's new love interest. Every movie he gets a new love interest, so it's not surprising. And then you got this girl, Paris, who's played by the girl that plays Mantis in the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, I mean, those are the two kind of like newbies in the series. And then obviously you got the OGs, right? So Ving Rhames has been in since number 1. And even though he isn't like a big role in every single one, so far it seemed like he's made at least a cameo, which is pretty cool to see that he's been consistent. I don't know if it's like why it seems like he slowed down kind of over time and kind of like took background roles. But they definitely put this guy up here. Forgot his name. I think it's Sean Penn. Um, Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg. But Simon Pegg has been in since like Mission Impossible 3, and then he like they kind of built him up like a bigger and bigger character. Um, so these are the OGs, like the people that have like survived like the whole time, and every time Ethan needs something, either they get assigned to him, or he goes and finds them, or they come find him. Um, which is definitely Mission Impossible is different in that way compared to James Bond, because James Bond is always by himself, where Mission Impossible is like the team unit trying to make something happen out of nothing. So again, y'all gonna let me know in the comments if you like the whole Mission Impossible team aspect compared to just like a secret spy James Bond type of thing. But Ethan Hunt has been consistent. Like he's used his name, Ethan Hunt, like the whole time. So like he'll even get phone calls at home, like, "Hey, is this Ethan?" And he doesn't know if it's like the bill collector calling him or if it's like some secret spy agency trying to track him down. Which I appreciate that they've worked into the story as he's tried to have like real relationships with women and get married, and you kind of see how those relationships are affected by what he does, which is really cool, which you don't always see in James Bond. He kind of just like gets the girl and then she dies and then he moves on to the next movie. That's kind of like a recurrent theme. So, but the boys, man, this is what this movie's all about. And then, like I said, they always get like a femme fatale that always helps them out. Um, and for the most part, it's a female that can hold her own. Um, what do you call it? Paula Patton was in Fallout. No, not Fallout. Ghost Protocol. Forgot all about that. Didn't even realize that's who that was. But um, she held her own. And so far to me, she's been like the best female kind of addition character. But so far she's only been in that one. But she was definitely like doing her own thing. So again, like even though they kind of add new characters every movie, they seem to pick the right ones. Now the other thing is they've had different directors over time, and the director that's been directing these last like 4 have kind of changed the model of how the movies are. Kind of like, oh, it's one, like it's, oh, we're going against the villain, and this is like the villain organization compared to like, oh, there's just a new villain, new mission, new everything every movie. Not Henry Cavill is a good example of Tom Cruise's eye for talent. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like people were super. I remember people were super hyped when Henry Cavill got put in that, and I wasn't like a Superman fan. Like I'm not a real Superman fan, so I didn't always like appreciate Henry Cavill. But I mean, he was like a big dude, like fighting Tom Cruise, and I remember how big of a deal that was. And Paula Patton is a favorite of mine as well. Yeah, I mean, I was doing some research about how people felt about her acting, and then how they felt about her in the series, and they don't necessarily think Paula Patton's a great actress, but they felt like in the Mission Impossible series, like she was a standout. She looked good in her dresses, like she was seductive, and she was a badass, like kicking butt, men and women, right? So it wasn't one of those things like, oh, how this girl beat up this dude. Like, nah, she was handling her own. So definitely a standout. And like I said, I can definitely appreciate it. So we'll talk about what the Midnight Boys are talking about, and then we'll talk about kind of like Tom Cruise's like all his stunts, basically like his top 15 stunts in the movies, and then we'll talk about Mobland. All right. So let me know if the audio isn't working. It should be. And I downloaded it, so the video. So hopefully that's gonna make it play a little bit better. But let's get into it.
This is Ringer's Next podcast feed for all things fandom. We are Steve, the architect, almond, the builder, and tinkerer of things. We are JOMI, the explainer, Adenoron. You've got questions, he's got answers. Old Man Van, key of the receding resurgent hairline, Coke, Baby, Chuck, the 24-karat closer. Together we are known as the Midnight Boys. Follow us on socials, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. JOMI.
That's I'm so excited to talk about Mission Impossible. Forget the socials, man. This movie means something to me, dog.
Let's do it. Speaking of socials, I went hyper viral. Did you see that?
What is hyper viral?
Like 13 million views.
On what?
Off what?
On my King Charles breakdown video. I want to do a whole episode on this podcast about King Charles the dog.
Wait, what the fuck is happening with King Charles?
Okay, I've seen this. I've seen these clips
million?
go around, but I haven't. So apparently, there's these dogs, right, on Instagram, and there's one who's like in charge, right? Like when he roll up, they literally start bowing. Like,
wait. Is this the real like fucking like feral? Like he just be like,
yeah. Well, he actually.
Is it the one where he like puts his paw down on the guy? Oh yeah, I saw that.
There's a whole mythology.
Okay, I have no idea what he's talking about, these dogs, which is fine, but I can't even imagine like 13 million views off of anything. Like getting 100 views is crazy, but 13 million, like, I mean, people obviously know who Van is, but from like TMZ and stuff, but that's insane.
Behind King Charles and the dogs.
Yeah.
King Charles wasn't the alpha. He became the alpha. Now other dogs like Tyrant are coming for his throne.
They're challenging him.
They're challenging him. They're challenging King Charles. I've never been more loyal to anything in my life
than King Charles.
Does
that TV work? Can somebody throw up King Charles later? I want to see these fucking
videos.
It's
a crazy video.
It's really crazy
cool.
video. King Charles
there
is the man.
Lore videos about King Charles?
Oh,
like
yes.
YouTube and shit?
There's lore. There's TikToks. He's got his own Instagram page. King Charles.
Let me know in the comments if you know what.
We're on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You can watch every Midnight Boys and House of Art episode on youtube.com/@Ringerverse and also on Spotify. I have something to say to the fans of the show. We love you guys so much. You guys bring so much conversation and commentary
There's a butt
to
coming.
what it is that we do. But just like in the movie,
Yeah.
I'm asking you guys to like, comment, and subscribe and share on the YouTube. I'm not just saying it. Go on the YouTube, comment, like, subscribe, share. I be on the Reddit, and I see sometimes on the Reddit that there are a lot of
Okay. Comment, like, subscribe, share on my page too, and the Ringerverse page. Shout out to the Midnight Boys.
comments on the Reddit. We have such a great and vibrant Reddit community.
Very active.
Very active.
Very active.
Some might say too active, but
No, man, it grows the show.
It grows the show. I really love what you guys do on Reddit and Facebook. Go to YouTube, share this stuff around. I'm not seeing enough Midnight Boys stuff pop up in my algorithm. All right, and we cooking right now.
They're cooking.
We
We're sharing.
top 15 TV and film podcasts in the world
We're
right
King
now.
Charles right now.
We cooking right now, but I'm not seeing enough growth on YouTube. I want more. I want you guys. You know what? I'm coming for the crown. We want the crown. We can't do it.
This
without
video
you
got
guys. This is our
11,000
kingdom
from May 28th.
and then we'll get paid.
Yes, but speaking of that, like I also do want to build a community. I don't want to just, have a channel. I do want to build a community. So what he's saying applies to me too. Let's build a community. Let's talk about stuff. Like that's really what I'm here for.
Programming reminders. Tomorrow, Button Mash is back with their pod on The Last of Us finale.
Guys, we were rocking with the takes, man. People said we weren't hard enough. That the 7 was too lenient.
Yeah, that's.
People said we weren't hard enough, and that the
That's
7
my
was
fault.
You
too
did that. You
lenient.
did that, Jomi.
That's on me.
That's
That's on me.
Jomi's
That's on me, guys. I'll
People
take
said we
responsibility.
weren't hard enough,
And the 7 was too
and the
lenient.
7 was too lenient. They wanted a 9.
Okay, but Raj, I see what you're saying about the lore for the dogs, but like, what is it? Like, is this like backyard dog? Like, what? It sound like some English dogs or something. I have no idea what this is. Of course, you know though.
It was
Well,
a
maybe
house
they wanted a
divided.
6. A 6 is something that you could be very comfortable with. A 6
gets
or
the
a
job
5.
done,
I've
yeah.
heard-
Job done. Nothing.
I've
to be
heard-
ashamed of.
I've heard. No, but there have been. It just all depends on the audience.
Yeah.
Because there are some audiences that
Yeah.
will say a 9 is a good score, but then there are other audiences that'll say a 6 is something that you can go back to every day.
Yeah, some people say but a 6, like why would you get a 6 over 9? But sometimes the 6 has more fun and enjoyable stuff.
Exactly.
With it.
Sometimes
right,
when you flip a 6 upside down,
it's a 9.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You see what I mean?
And
Yeah.
also depends on the audience. What can the audience deal with?
Exactly.
Not,
Exactly.
not every
What
audience
are they
wants
ready
a
to deal
9.
with that? What are they?
Okay, so speaking of that, like this is like this is how like I was talking to my dad earlier about Sinners, right? And how we automatically picked up that Sinners felt very reminiscent of Dusk Till Dawn, whereas like a lot of people will just consume Dusk Till Dawn like over and over and over like fodder, whereas Sinners is like something you kind of have to like digest and think about, right? So like even if you hold it to a higher caliber, the rewatchability isn't always in favor of the score of the rating. Raj said Midnight Boys have the best intro and outro of the pod world. Yeah, no, I gotta get my intro up. I'm working on it.
Ready for it.
Yeah, sometimes the 6 is like what you're with. And
Exactly.
you never know. I think a lot of these shows think that every show has to be a 9.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't.
It can
No,
be a 6.
It can be a 6, and that's okay.
A 6 gets the job.
6 is above average.
Mhm.
There you go. Also tomorrow, House of R will be giving you their spring mailbag. Later this week, we'll be giving you our Ringerverse recommends for the month of May. I want to tell you guys something else. I think that I'm going to be going on Ben Lindbergh's podcast pretty soon to talk about baseball.
Okay.
ooh,
I'm so back into baseball.
Okay, I don't care about baseball, but I was watching something earlier. I think Diary of a CEO. I think I was watching it yesterday, and the idea of like doing interviews, whether it's like for newspapers or newsletters or magazines or going on podcasts and stuff like that, and getting your face out there and your branding is supposed to be helpful to building up like your brand, right? So like noticing how a lot of people do kind of like the pod circuit and sit down and stuff. I mean, obviously you might have to be like a certain level to get invited to stuff like that, but that is a part of like growing your audience, and that's not always easy for somebody to do, especially if they're just like comfortable just being behind the camera. But you know, something maybe to do in the future. Go to cons, do podcasts, get interviewed. I don't really think I want to interview people, but like I said, it's almost like doing the Chitlin circuit to kind of get yourself out there. Raj said, I agree on the rewatchability. Not sure if that's a word difference between Dustin Adonis and yeah, absolutely. That is a thing. Like some stuff are just popcorn, right? And you could just watch it and whatever. Even if you don't watch it, you have it in the background. I mean, just think about all the stuff that comes out on like TNT, right? Especially during the summer, stuff you never went to go see in a movie, but like you'll just let it play over and over and over again and then you'll just like catch the same good scenes over and over again.
Yeah.
That I don't understand the new game. So tell you what I mean. I'm so back into baseball that I'm watching baseball.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that I haven't watched enough baseball over the years to understand something like why Ohtani would be leading off.
Because he's there. So he wasn't leading off when he got there. Mookie was leading off, and then he got hurt, and so they moved Shohei up one. He was the MVP, like he couldn't miss, so he stayed in that number one role. But I was looking at your tweets, and back in the day, you would have like a guy with like some space, and then your best hitter, which would be Shohei, would be hitting at like 3 or 4, right? So he can get batters in. At this point now, it's a numbers game. So you want your best hitters hitting further up the line so they get more at bats.
I got you. I could also say this though. I watched 2 games where Shohei led the game off with home runs.
And nobody's on base.
Those are solo shots.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't care about baseball. Sorry. Shout out to the Midnight Boys. If you want to watch this, I will share the link in the comments because that's only fair. And you can watch Van and Jomi talk about baseball. So I'm gonna just skip that.
You guys are the guys. You know what? You're a Winter Soldier. That's good. And then you could be, well, you still want to be Spider-Man.
Who hates Spider-Man?
How did Cap kick Spider-Man's ass? How did that happen? Can we smarter them?
So in that scene,
Spider-Man would dog walk the shit out of Captain America.
Yeah, but if he didn't have any sense,
I'm glad
Spider-Man would beat the dog shit out of Captain America.
Yeah, but he's a kid and he doesn't understand that he can get outsmarted. That's
Wait, what version of Cap are we talking about? MCU?
We gotta get to it.
MCU? No, wait, let's stay on this. MCU?
He would
MCU Cap. He beat the shit out of Cap.
So here's the difference, though. He never.
But also know how many tangents they go on before they even get to what they got to talk about. So I have no idea when this really starts. So we're just here.
Fights him really, like he hits him with the shield, but really he like uses the shield to knock down that
Spider-Man
thing.
Yeah,
hold it. All right, exactly. So but for the feats that Spider-Man fucking has, he had to fight a plumber with wings.
All right, man.
And then fucking Jake Gyllenhaal with some magic.
He's fighting electricians.
Then, like fucking Captain America was walking down Black Panther.
What question are you asking me? Because I kind of skipped forward. Is the question, how did Captain America beat Spider-Man? Because he tricked him, right? He was just kind of like, hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. He was like, oh, I'm from Queens. And then I forgot what he did, but I mean, he basically took him off guard. He disarmed him with his charm. That's what happened. And then they got him out of there. If I'm not mistaken, something, I don't know. Captain, did he throw the shield off the thing at the airport and then knock him out? And then Tony was like, "You're done." But basically, he charmed him. That was what he really did. That's my answer. I'm sorry if that's not what the question was, but that's what I'm going with.
They're like, what are we talking about? Like, if we're talking about feats.
Feats, you're so crazy. I want to do a whole show on feats. I want to have a feat off.
With an A, not an E. With an A. Let's
either way. Really. Either way.
Oiled up feet off.
Tarantino on the pod.
Well, the only fight that we've seen between Captain America and Spider-Man was in it was the airport fight. And again, I mean, this is Captain America. He disarmed him with his charm. But I mean, straight up, I don't know. I mean, we talking about Captain America fighting Thanos. Like, what are we talking about? Like, yes, but I mean, and they're at like two different calibers in their career. Like, I have no basis of like what level you're talking about. Spider-Man has been Spider-Man for like 6 months when Tony went to go get him to bring him to the airport. So they're not even on the same level. And Captain America's been in war. So, I mean, my answer is going to be Captain America unless there's some kind of other explanation. Now, if you want to bring up some type of Marvel cartoon or comic book or something that I'm not familiar with, I don't know. But that's my answer. Now, if you want to take the other two Spider-Man and then put them up against Captain America, I mean, that might be a little different story. They're a little bit more seasoned. That's my answer.
Get Tarantino on the pod. Get what's his name from the Jets?
Rob Ryan.
Rob Ryan on the pod.
This is a sex positive podcast. Why is it like feet niggas are the ones where everybody's
Can
like,
I tell you something? Because there's a actual mental thing. There's a mental connection between I read it. There's like a thing to where for guys that find feet,
it's like if you're right-handed, then you're more likely
there's
to
a thing
have
in their brain.
Cilantro.
Somebody fact check
I swear.
Somebody
for guys that find feet attractive, they are really
This is for work.
super
This is for work.
attracted to feet. There's a thing in their brain.
Okay, I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna talk about the feet. Y'all want me to talk about feet? Help me get to 100 subscribers, and then we'll have a whole feet discussion. Other than that, I'm just a fly on the wall listening to what they got to talk about. Y'all get me to 100 subscribers, Mr. 69, Raj, everybody, then we'll have a different conversation.
That makes them attracted to feet.
Did you read
Like a data chip?
No way.
I get different stuff in my algorithm than you guys.
Clearly,
there's a brain part of the foot attractive guys that these guys really go crazy over feet. Their feet crazy. It's the thing. There's a whole thing.
Jomi, you keep researching that.
I can't find any.
I'll find it.
Make a dissertation
along with the Sailor Moon videos I used to give you guys.
Please don't. Please never do that.
Okay, we gotta start the show.
See?
So to begin our reactions, we gotta give you the spoiler warning first of all. So we're gonna be spoiling everything with Mission Impossible. This is
all right. So 10 minutes in, if people need a reference, I'm at 10 minutes and 9 seconds from when they finally are going to start talking about this daggone Mission Impossible movie. If this thing works, I'm bookmark it. Hell, I don't even know how long I've been on the damn stream.
ostensibly the last Mission Impossible movie. So
I don't believe that.
This means we could spoil basically everything from any Mission Impossible movie up to date.
All right. Fair point. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Okay. If you have not seen Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, they're going to spoil it. I'm going to spoil it. If you are going to watch it, if you don't want to know what happens, if you don't want to know who dies, who lives, you can come back later. I'll bookmark the time when we talk about Mobland, all of that stuff. If you want to check back later, I'm going to spoil that too. But they put the spoiler warning out. I put the spoiler warning. Let's talk about it. and this is like for all 8 movies. And like I said, I'm for the most part caught up, and that's why I went back and I watched it, because I had a feeling they were going to reference a lot of stuff. It's a lot, right? I mean, this is like 30 years of work almost. So like 1996. So here we go.
The television show in the 60s, everything we can spoil. Steve, run the spoiler warning.
We're getting ready to talk about
Mission Impossible.
you're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming.
All right, to begin our reactions, Chuck Wagon, Midnight Manifest. Chuck, take it away.
All right, here's your Midnight Manifest for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, written by Christopher McQuarrie and Eric Gendressen. Sorry if I fucked that up. We flash forward 2 months from the events of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Part 1. Ethan is still hunting Gabriel and the entity, but the evil AI and Gabriel are abusing. Ethan has to find the Podkova, aka the Rabbit Script, from Mission Impossible 3, which is located in the submarine we saw blow up in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Ethan forms a team consisting of Benji, Grace, Paris, and Luther. Angela Bassett is now the president and believes that Tom Cruise is the only person who can save the world. Hijinks ensue. Luther dies because Ving Rhames is old as shit, but he designs one more stupid tech device that Tom Cruise needs to plug into another doohickey to destroy the entity and save the world. There's a sick submarine stunt, and Milchek from Severance is there. The movie then has a bunch of callbacks to the other films, revealing that Shea Wiggum is related to Jim Phelps, the villain from the original movie Mission Impossible. Also, William Domino is back from the first movie. He's the guy who almost walks in on Ethan during the iconic skylight scene. He's not mad at Ethan, though, for getting him fired, because he has a full wife now. Ethan then tracks down Gabriel, and there's a sick biplane stunt, and the movie ends, and that has been the Midnight Manifest for The Final Reckoning.
I don't know if anybody could do a Midnight Manifest better than Chuck, and that's why I don't bother doing it. But yeah, all of that happened. Yes, and yes, they did thread or try to loosely thread a lot of stuff back to the old stuff just for nostalgia's sake. Cool. Doesn't change anything. There's no secret babies or anything. Yeah, Ving is old just like Van and us. Yeah, that's hilarious. But like I said, I mean, Ving has been slowing down since like Mission Impossible 3, and he wasn't even in Ghost Protocol till like the very end. He did a cameo. So like I said, I don't know if he got health problems, but yeah. But he's like the staple, right? He's like Tony Todd in Final Destination. You just look forward to when he's gonna pop up. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate you.
God. Van, what did you think of this movie?
Okay, so distinctly different experiences. I saw this movie twice.
Right.
2 distinctly different experiences. Okay, in seeing the movie. The first time I saw the movie, I found it tedious and very difficult to watch. I'll be honest with you.
Wow.
In a real way. The second time I saw the movie, a lot less so. I liked it a lot more. I have a theory about this film as it regards to the people who don't like it, which seems to be a lot of the people who I trust here at The Ringer and other people that I see out there who are having problems with this movie.
Okay. This movie is a popcorn flick. If you think that it's anything else, don't waste your time. I mean, this is the 8th installment of the same type of movie. It's not any different. If you don't like Mission Impossible, don't go watch it. If you're looking for sinners in Mission Impossible, you're not going to find it. It's a summer blockbuster movie. You know what you're getting into at this point. It's the same beats all the time. If that's not for you, if you're not a Tom Cruise fan, if you don't like Peg, if you don't like Ving, for whatever reason you don't like Haley Atwell, don't watch the movie. That's it. I mean, this isn't opera. I'm not looking for anything but like crazy stunts and like a plot that kind of makes sense. Yeah. And again, shout out to Chuck for doing this. Now, I think I only seen this movie once, but I do want to see it in IMAX, because the two action scenes, the sub scene and the plane scene, are like that good. I mean, hell, I would watch like just his Tom Cruise's stunts alone without the rest of the movie. This is like a true like ode to stunt work. I mean, it's like a third of the movie with just the action scenes alone. But I appreciated it so much so, like I said, I want to go see it in IMAX. Other people may not, but I mean, you should know what you're getting yourself into. As soon as you told me it had great stunts, I knew it wasn't for me. And that's fine. And some people don't care about that. But I mean, that's what we're looking for from a Tom Cruise movie. We're waiting for him to run really, really fast through some alleyway or, corridor. He probably got like crazy hair, waiting for him to jump off of something, grab onto something, fly off of something, almost drown. Like, that's what we're looking for. It's like, why do you watch a Jackie Chan movie? For the stunts. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into. So like, if you're watching a Jackie Chan movie and you think you about to get Clueless or something, like, you're watching the wrong movie.
The reason why I think I liked it more the second time is because
you turned your brain off.
The movie is so exposition heavy, and I was so anticipating waiting for the stunts and waiting for the stuff that by the time it came in the actual first time I watched the film, I was already kind of out of it. And it reminds me of the original Mission Impossible movie in that way.
96?
96. This film is the one to me that is the most like that film. Because the first time I saw that movie, I didn't really understand it. Like, I didn't get why. Remember, I saw it in theaters. There was a joke made at the Oscars where Billy Crystal goes, I'll give you X amount of money if you can explain to me the plot of Mission Impossible. Because I think that when we first saw it, the knock list,
who's the mole, etc.
Who's the mole, Max, all of that stuff, it wasn't that easy to kind of get through. It was kind of hard to wrap your mind around. And in this movie...
But, like I said, I just watched it. It is a true spy movie. And almost so much so that, like, me rewatching these movies are like, man, we haven't had like a real spy movie outside of Mission Impossible. Like, for real. And like, we thought Secret Invasion was going to be like a spy TV show. We haven't had like a true spy thriller in a very long time. Tom Cruise running will never be something I pay to see. Hey, I feel you. But and like I said, I'll talk about the other movies, but car chases, motorcycle chases, like, I mean, high octane, like, that's what you're going to see. And it's a little bit more grounded than the Fast and Furious at this point. It's still a little more grounded, but also you can appreciate the stunts.
I kind of felt the same way. The second time I saw it, I was like, oh, Poison Pill, Parkova, he's got to go down and get that. Then they got to come up to Gabriel, the entity, all these other things that are working. It didn't go over my head the first time I saw it, but I was like, Jesus Christ, another scene where they're explaining what has to happen to make this movie make sense. The second time, all of that stuff, I was a little bit more familiar with it, and it seemed a lot shorter, and it got to the point a lot better, and the movie made more sense in of exposition, action sequence, exposition, action sequence, and then tying all the relationships of the movie together a little bit more. So the second time I saw it, like at the end, I was actually moved when the president saw her son, when Ethan was left there. When I left the first time, I was pissed off, like, what the fuck did they just do? So I know that's very long-winded, but I had two different experiences watching the movie. And look, I was completely prepared to come in here and be like, yo, this shit was really whack. And I meant that. That was a real
those
real
were your first texts.
feelings. I was like, that's what I said when we first texted. Then me and Kaliko went back to see it again, and I was like, oh, I had a lot more fun with it. I was there for the ride, and it made a lot more sense to me the second time. So and I have that theory about the movie that anybody that has a problem with it, it might be the type of film that's better on a rewatch.
Yes. Better on a rewatch, possibly, if you're not into it. But if you're into it, you know what you're getting yourself into it. I mean, and at this point, it's a franchise. So, the lore, the storylines, the characters, the threads, how people tie it together. It's a franchise now. And there are people that are more invested into that than others, which is fair. And they did do a lot of hey, we're going to make this person related to this person and bringing this cameo from, movie one and yada, yada, yada. Fine. It's just fine. It doesn't change anything. There's no revelation oh, you've been after me this whole time because you were mad I killed your dad or something. It's not that deep. I mean, it's just fan service. But again, I do appreciate that Van could admit that he liked it after rewatching it.
I mean, I liked it the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I thought it was. Listen, does the movie have its issues? Yes. Does the movie?
They all do.
The movie does one thing that actively pissed me off that we'll talk about later. But as an ending for the story of Ethan Hunt and the IMF as we know it and all these characters, when Luther's giving his little speech posthumously at the end, there were tears in my eyes. Real grown tears, dog. That meant something to me, man. It was just, I don't know if it's the perfect ending, but for this particular iteration of what Tom Cruise and Christian McQuarrie have been working through the last 4 movies, that's how you wrap it up, man. That's how you.
Okay, and to bring back the whole McQuarrie thing, it's almost like they went from making Star Wars one-offs to okay, we're gonna put this all together and make it make sense. We're gonna franchise it. So there's a little bit more weaving together in the last 4 episodes, in the last 4 installments. They're trying to put a bow on a story. But again, in context to everything, it's 8 movies. I mean, Star Wars has 9. You know what I mean? And that was since the 70s. So, and that's with different generations of groups of people. Whereas this is the same kind of group of people. Yeah, so if you're into the franchise, if you're into the characters, if you're into the lore, I think they even got comic books and stuff maybe, and then they were talking about the past TV shows that they've referenced in the movies and stuff. There's a history to this. So if you're into it, you're going to appreciate it.
You send Ethan Hunt off if this is indeed the end. I thought that we'll talk about more the minutia later, but once he gets off the aircraft carrier, gets into the Ohio, movie takes off, and I had a ton of fun in the theater. I know it was a little long, it was 2:40, and that first hour is a lot of talking. To your point, it's a lot of, you got to get this. They restate the pot cove and all over and over and over again. But at the end of the day, man, when he's in that submarine and he's got to unhook the diver stuff from the falling
air
submarine,
backpack to shove himself into the tube,
right? When he can't get into the torpedo tube because it's too big, dog. When he jumps off the plane and gets on the Gabriel's plane and his plane is falling when he's upside down, right there, CINEMA, fellas, that is capital cinema.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Bravo. I mean, those scenes are just amazing, bro. Like, honestly, just unbelievable. And it's all him. It's all him. And like I said, he's like in his 60s. Let's see, Tom Cruise. $62 years old. Crazy. Crazy. Just cinema, to Jomi's point.
Let me tell you, and guys, maybe this is just me,
Okay.
but when
Talk your shit, Jomi.
he's in the submarine, man,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw this in IMAX.
I saw it in IMAX the second time, which might have also.
Oh my God,
contributed
you have to see it in IMAX.
I saw
When
it in
he's
IMAX
in the
second
sub
time.
and he's turning the lever,
Turn the lever.
and it goes from the standard shot,
Oh,
and he goes,
boom, boom.
boom,
Talk
and
your
it's
shit, Jomi.
IMAX. Come on,
IMAX,
man.
daddy.
I'm sitting there.
I believe it.
He gets into the water, and then for the next, 25, 30 minutes, silence. And you're sitting there, it's you and Ethan in the submarine. And he's
It's 12 minutes, but
like 12 minutes. It felt like 30 to me because
Gotcha.
I was sitting, bro. You know how I get in the movie? I get into it. I was at the
we haven't
edge
talked about this
of
before.
Okay, Chuck's face is like he didn't watch it in IMAX. I feel like the way Chuck is looking, he watched it on his phone. And he probably got like a broken iPhone, to be honest. You're not gonna appreciate it, bro. Like you're not. Like this is cinema, bro. It's cinema and it's stunt work, and you're either gonna like it or you're not.
my
Alea,
seat.
Alea, what's
Dog.
the movie going experiment? What the fuck's wrong with me? Alea, what's the movie going experience with Jomi?
Jomi's either falling asleep and snoring, or he
That's true.
like gestures at the screen and talks to it.
It's
Oh,
like
man.
it's like him watching a Lakers game. God forbid he's
Oh,
in
man.
the stadium. It's like he's
Imagine
coaching the guy.
At
Yeah.
a symphony. Jomi conducts the movie.
Except instead of being like on the stage, I'm like in the audience.
Yeah,
going like
Jomi's
this.
Kalika was livid. She was like, "What's wrong with him?" The first time she met Jomi, she's like, "What's his problem?" Jomi conducts the movie while
Yes,
we
he's
watch it.
in the scene talking to the people.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh,
yes,
I wanna
Tom,
go-
now go over here.
Dog,
Like he's directing.
bro.
You know, the other thing is what stands out to me when I watch like groups of people talk about the same movie is how they don't always go see the movie together. And I think that also changes like your perspective, because like if you watch a movie and then you get in a group chat and you start talking about it, it's one thing. But like if you organically like talk about it in person, or you're seeing people react or whatever, you know, you get a different experience. And like I said, the way that they're making it sound as if they didn't all see it together. So, you know, that may change things a lot.
But when he like is on a plane and he knocks old boy out and flips the plane upside down, he falls out. That dog. I'm sitting there like we've never seen this before. I'm in a cathedral watching Pastor Tom Cruise spit a sermon so fire that we have never seen,
all right,
and we will never see again.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, if you can hear me,
Jesus.
what I am telling you is that what we have just experienced, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, is some of the best movie making we've ever seen.
All right.
We won't see film like this ever again. We won't sit there and watch a man risk his life to deliver us some incredible action. We will never see.
I agree with that. Also, they have not like lined up like a successor, and I don't know what actor. I don't even know if Tom Holland would be willing to go that far. I don't think Zendaya would let him. So I agree. Like this is the end of a certain caliber of cinema. 100%.
See this again. So as I'm leaving the theater, and I know like this is the end of this chapter, like we literally won't see somebody literally risk their life to deliver us movies like this
Until he needs to win a stunt performing
maybe,
Oscar.
maybe, but it probably won't be Mission Impossible, right? Which is like the whole thing. Like this, Ethan Hunt as a singular character, a single force, is something that over the last 30 years has changed, right? It was, it's a spy movie. Now it's kind of an action thing. And over these last 4 movies, they've ratcheted up the stakes, at least for, Tom Cruise, risking his life to give us this stuff. And I think what they did with the submarine scene, which I wasn't expecting going to the movie, so like that was completely new. But the plane, like that entire sequence, incredible.
Fellas?
I just want to say this to the American people. I think we are at our point where we are glazing Tom Cruise to such an extent that it's getting disgusting. And I need everybody to stop. I love Tom Cruise. I love Mission Impossible movies. I like that he's Mr. Hollywood. He's saving the cinema.
The president of Hollywood.
I love the president
the
of
mayor.
Hollywood. I do. But the glazing of Tom Cruise needs to fucking stop.
No. Listen, Tom Cruise has a lot of movies under his belt, but Mission Impossible is his baby. Like, that's his symphony. No, I'm not. You can say whatever you want to say about him. Hell yeah. I mean, you could even bring in Top Gun. I'm not a Top Gun fan. People have been waiting so long for Top Gun. Cool. But this Mission Impossible, completely different. This is his baby. JOMI is you and CHUCK is me. JOMI needs to relax on saying risking his life multiple times as if Tom is in, but he literally is risking his life. He's doing his own stunts. You're not watching these stunts, bro. Like, you're not going back and watching like the making of these stunts. Dude is risking his life. Even the one with, was it Fallout, where he jumped off the bike and they had to do it on, like, they had to get it on the first take because it was about to go crazy. Like, dude is risking his life. Now, he's an adrenaline junkie, yeah, but like, these are real stunts by him. Like, it's not glazing him if it's true. Like, no one's ever like, oh, you glaze Jackie Chan because, he's fighting. Like, we love Jackie Chan because he's doing his own stunts. But those stunts are, like, minimal compared to what the hell Tom Cruise is doing. He's literally jumping out of planes and drowning himself underwater. Like, what are we talking about?
Literally, what we just witnessed, that was a lot.
He was kind of doing tricks on it. He was doing tricks on it.
Somebody else is doing that. Name one other person who's doing what Tom Cruise is doing. I'll be here all day. I'll be here all day.
That's a lot.
Name one person doing the same thing.
Bro, that was as sincere as you'll ever see Charles. Charles looked over. Charles was like, that was a lot, bro. Like, okay.
You can't name one person doing the same thing. There's nobody. There is nobody.
Okay, I'll say my piece for the beginning of it. Like, I genuinely do respect.
Oh, do you have it?
What?
He's got to get his hat. He can't pop without his hat yet.
Okay, all right. Pause for hat. Why now? Well, okay, wait a minute. This is important. Why now do we need to activate the hat?
Because I meant to wear the hat today because
Okay.
I don't want to betray the hat. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, that's important. But I genuinely do respect the idea that the kind of principles of filmmaking that Tom Cruise and Macquarie like really do preach, I kind of do find important. Like the idea that making movies with these amounts of effort and forethought and dedication is something that, like, as an industry, it seems to be lacking. They don't make movies like this that often. They are bloated and very expensive and
CGI.
are the make or break levers that will keep the lights on at Paramount for another year. But when I sit down to watch something like this now, the most cynical parts of me feel like, okay, well, now I'm going to watch like the 10th installment of a extension of a person's ego to seemingly want to keep the lights on, not only just for their career, but like Hollywood abroad. So when I say that, it can be wildly entertaining, but also like debilitatingly boring and insufferable.
That first
so
the first
nasty.
2 hours of the movie, I'm gonna be so honest. Like I was probably like you on the first watch. I was actively pissed. I'm like, if they introduce another fucking goddamn fucking callback,
It's this movie's a flashback merchant.
Or
it's nothing
it's
but
just
like over explaining, and I get it. Like it's supposed to be this big culmination of every single thing that's ever happened. And they're talking about Ethan Hunt like he's Jesus and he's the manifestation of destiny, and all the things that he's ever done have culminated into this one thing. And I've wanted to kind of like make a comp of like what kind of film series has like concluded or like carried on this way. And I would have wanted it to be
Fast
like
and the Furious.
It's the Fast and the
Steve's first words were principles of filmmaking. Sure. I mean, if you want to say that if this is Tom Cruise's ego in it, I mean, sure. But what filmmaker, what director, what actor, what producer isn't putting their ego in their stuff? Like I'm not like I had a whole conversation with my dad earlier about Sinners, about like how Coogler's ego was in that. And there's nothing you can tell me differently. I'm not gonna say exactly what we said. And then when you start looking at the other movies, you might be like, "Oh, I mean, he does have a point. He's putting some in that." But I mean, are you serious? Like, and Tom Cruise has been doing this for 30 years. You're gonna act like there's no ego in that. That's fine. But yeah, like this is literally the end of an art form, and the only alternative is CGI Fast and Furious, like that people are tired of. I don't know, man. Like if you can't appreciate this, then where do we have to go from here?
At the end, it's become the Fast and the Furious, but like with a self-serious, elevated prestige that it doesn't deserve.
Well, so this is what I'll say.
That's not true.
Okay, so the stakes are different here than they are in the Fast and the Furious. Right?
Sure, of course.
No,
So, and the talent, no disrespect to Fast and the Furious,
no,
but the talent is different.
Yes.
When I want to say talent, I mean there's
caliber,
an elevated Hollywood reputation that goes along with the Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
You got Angela Bassett.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Also, the scope of the film deals in a seriousness that an espionage film has to deal in, or else it's hokey.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's like if you have a movie that is dealing in espionage and spy shit, a la a James Bond type of film, that film has to comport itself with a degree of seriousness, or else you won't fall into it.
And that's so crazy for me because I like the hokiness.
It's either James Bond or it's Naked Gun. What is it that you want? What is it that you want it to be?
Of almost all of the Mission Impossibles is what I've liked about it. When I've loved Ghost Protocol, when I've loved Fallout, when I've loved Rogue Nation, there's always a level of ridiculousness to all of these movies that I have greatly enjoyed. And there's a reason that they're propulsive and there's still a kinetic energy of, while explaining things in a ridiculous way, while having ridiculous like gadget glasses and insane stunts and all those things, there still feels like a level of trajectory that every movie is on, where both with less so with Dead Reckoning, but a lot so with this, it just stops every like 30 minutes to be like, what we're doing is so important. And what we're going to be doing is the last time we're ever going to be doing it. Here's an awesome sequence.
Okay, so for context, again, rewatching these movies, the level of like danger that these movies introduce are like, hey, we have like a spy that's trying to hijack some nuclear codes, or we have some spy group that's trying to out all the other spies, or or we're trying to kill the prime minister or kidnap the prime minister, or we're trying to, keep somebody from getting diamonds so that they can trade it for state secrets. Like, those levels of stakes are completely different than what Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning are. Basically, in the Reckonings, which I'll call them for short, it's a supercomputer that is going to make humanity bend to its will, a la Terminator. So, yes, there is a finality to this, that if they don't succeed, it's not just going to disrupt like one country or one nation or half the population. It's like literally global. Humanity is at stake. And and not only that, but you have it where the computer is supposed to be so smart that it can outsmart everything that you're going to try to do to keep it from winning. The only thing that it can't do is, like, if you know where the off switch is, it's hard to get to the off switch, but if you get to the off switch, then you won. But you're not going to get to the off switch because no one knows where the off switch is. And every person that did died, got murdered, because the AI made it happen. There is a global grand scale finality to this that, stands out compared to the other ones. It's not just, if you get caught, if your leadership is going to deny you exist. No, it's like, if you don't make it, we're in trouble.
And now back to explaining how important and everything is. Occasionally, we're going to have one person get the spotlight. Palm Clementif is going to be amazing. Hallie Atwell is going to do something cool. And then over-explain stakes. Big fuck off, amazing plane sequence that is genuinely thrilling. Great. And like amazing. Yeah. Like it justifies its entire existence. I'm not going to say that I wasn't like thoroughly entertained by it, but it's so much of a drag. When Dead Reckoning came out, I really hoped that it was a fluke. I really hoped that it was like, okay, COVID really held that back and they wanted to split this up into something a bit more cohesive. But instead, it's just a long, protracted, okay, we've only got like 2 or 3 things to really fire off in this movie, spectacle-wise. We're kind of just spinning our wheels for about a good 2 hours.
So let me tell you the way I break the film down. Particularly when I'm talking about like this. Jomi, you want to say something?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying.
Particularly when I talk about when I'm looking at it from the scope of the second time I saw it. The first time I saw it, once again, I'm gonna be honest with you, I felt exactly the way you just felt. Okay. So the movie has got to do 3 things. Number 1, it has to get Ethan out clean. Mm-hmm. Get Ethan out clean to where we are completely unambiguous about who Ethan is. Because going into this film, you could be like, yeah, Ethan Hunt is cool, but he left this
mess,
trail of carnage in his wake. Right? All of these people had to die, get fucked over for Ethan Hunt to do what he does. That's the Don Lowe character coming back. The Don Lowe character comes back because you think that guy is really in a lot of trouble because Ethan Hunt had to use him as a patsy to steal the knock list from Langley.
Right.
But they do it in a very heavy-handed way that what Ethan did ended up being better for Don Lowe.
Right.
And they actually use Don Lowe's genius to help them solve the problems that they have in this movie.
Yeah.
The second thing they have to do in the film is make you believe that legitimately, if one thing goes wrong,
that's it.
It's the end of the world.
Yes.
Now, a lot of movies do that, right? Like if we talk.
Thank you. Like the stakes are much higher. Much higher. End of the world. Not Fast and Furious, Terminator. Like end of the world. Not Fallout, where everyone lives in a shelter for a little while. Like end of the world, that's it.
talked about Star Wars A New Hope, you'd have to say, all right, if this doesn't happen, 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 if Skywalker's parents don't get killed, it all gets fucked over because he's the only person that can make the shot, right?
Yeah.
So all of these things have to happen. But with those things, you can look back and say that they're just coincidence. This movie has to do it in a way.
Also, I just want to point out that I brought up Star Wars, but continue.
To make you believe that they have to plan these things out and execute them all. Like nothing has to happen that's almost just lucky.
Yeah, nothing happens by accident.
Nothing. They have to have a plan that is the most ridiculous plan, but actually the only way that it works. And I'm saying that.
Raj said there are select few movies that really make you feel like it's the end of the world. No MI movie has done that for me, because Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning are the only two that have had that level of stakes. And again, I don't know if you saw 7 and 8, but all of the other ones wasn't that high. So that's my whole point. Like, and to Van's point, so much like Star Wars is almost predestination, right? All of this had to happen exactly the way that it happened so that Rey could live if she's the New Hope. But in this, it's like, hey, what are we going to do? I have no idea, but let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. And not only do we figure it out, it's going to go wrong while we're doing it, because they're going to show you what it's supposed to look like in the movie. Then they're going to show you how it goes wrong. Then you're going to have to see how they have to adjust and still make it happen. But again, 7 and 8 are two totally different calibers of high-level stakes compared to the other ones.
Because the movie is ridiculous in the sense that Ethan Hunt is the only person that is ridiculous enough to think of the things that have to happen in this movie for them to win.
I mean, they spend like a lot of the movie.
And he is the cavalier. Like, he, to Van's point, yeah, not only is he the only person that could think of these things, but he's the only one that can pull it off. Because you have to be able to like let go a certain type of like you have to be willing to not hold yourself back, which is what Ethan does. And certain villains have called him like a gambler or whatever, but like you almost have to, in this case, he has to be willing to gamble with his life to do all of the stuff to get the job done. It's an impossible mission. That's the point of the movies.
With Ethan going, I have to do this crazy, insane thing. Someone's like, no, that's crazy and insane. Why'd you do that? And it's like, that's literally the only way it can happen.
Yeah. And I guess to me, like with this, the problem that I had with this is that like there was no either levity or like shrugging off of this movie's ridiculousness by its star at any point.
The world's going to end.
What?
What's funny about that?
What's funny about that is because it almost seemed to be happening every other time. Because it's like, oh my God, I got to jump out of a plane. And then there's going to be a point where Tom Cruise is like, all right, I got to jump out of a plane now. And then like he does it. Like regardless of whether or not it's believable, there's always some guy behind it being like, man, isn't this kind of nuts? And then he does it.
I have a challenge here.
Sure.
This is the moment.
Raj said again, valid points on many people who believe Tom, aka Ethan, is the only one who could get it done. In this world, yeah. But I mean, that's what movie franchises are based on, right? Like even with Fast and Furious, as ridiculous as it sounds, Dom's team is the only people that could get this job done. And you got to suspend your belief. It's all fiction. It's not real. So you either got to like it or you don't. I mean, like, which is fine. Both points are fine. But yeah, I mean, again, like, I wonder if watching everything together as like a catalog, if that changes the perspective.
Marvelization of your
But
taste.
But you can't say that because it's happened in every other Mission Impossible movie.
Wrong. I don't think that it happened.
You don't think
I
so?
think that Mission Impossible 1 is an incredibly serious movie.
Yeah.
Like really serious, to where he is bummed out for a lot of the time. I think now that what's happened is that for us, we need the film that's showing the ridiculous stuff to wink at us. And Mission Impossible refuses to wink. Like, the marvelization of these movies means that, okay, we're going to do time travel, and then Ant-Man has to go. He has to make, like, Back to the Future jokes. He has to go, oh my God, blah, 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 in order for us to be like, okay, we're watching something ridiculous. We get it. You get it. Everybody's cool. And there are going to be movies that are going to put large scale things on the screen and that are going to refuse to wink. They're going to be like, in this world, this is the way shit goes. It's the most important thing in the world. These people are serious and earnest, and you gotta fucking deal with it.
Nah, when Simon Pegg pulls off Wolf Blitzer's face from his face and is like, nah, man, you fell for it. Like, that's us winking. When Henry Cavill is like, who falls for this shit? And then it's Alec Baldwin just pops this shit up.
Even in this movie, they have the little bit of like, and this was obviously a reshoot, when him and Haley Atwell get captured and they do the Looney Tunes. You don't see the fight.
Yeah, you don't see the fight, and then it's just
being like,
oh, that kind of stuff. That level.
And he's like, hey, we do have to go. And then it rolls into the trailer.
So
that's the kind of
stuff. I'm not saying that the movie won't be funny. Like, I'm not saying that the movie won't be funny. I'm saying that the movie is not going to. So in the film, they remark on the absurdity of the plans, but they never give the audience an out to where we get to go, you know what? This is fucking crazy. They go, no, the fate of the world is at stake. We got to do this. And if this month,
I think they do that in the like just the scenes. When you're watching him do the playing stuff, when you're watching him in the Sevastopol, you're kind of like, holy like, nah, he's doing this for real. Like, this isn't like, there's no.
And Ethan's never having any fun.
Not even a little bit.
He's never having any
After
fun.
that joke at the beginning, that's
the movie stops having fun with itself.
It's so serious. I mean, yeah, because they were ended the world's in 3 days. I don't know what kind of jokes.
I mean, but I guess my big issue with this is like I feel like I felt this movie is not as bad as like The Rise of Skywalker or whatever, but that movie's insistence on everything having to connect and everything having to be a part. Like, while I was watching this movie, I'm like, why does this fucking character have to be a callback to Mission Impossible 1? Why does the rabbit's foot actually not have to be the rabbit's
to hold
foot?
on to the knife the day you got fired, just to give it to like, come on, man.
There was a moment where I was like, really, bro?
Pocket, you know what I'm saying? He had it. That's whatever. This is the one thing I'll say about the movie that actively pissed me off.
Well, I don't think he would have that knife, but if he did,
no, he wouldn't.
I think the CIA would probably have the knife. But if that knife was left there, I personally would keep it.
What? Okay.
I mean, and again, like where you're like, oh, Henry Chesney in the first one, when they find out that Tom Cruise stole the knock list, it's like, send this guy to the coldest spot and most remote place.
Which is so ironic that they flipped that, and then that was the spot that they had to go to get the coordinates for the submarine. I mean, if you're gonna do a callback and tie stuff together, I mean, that's a hell of a way to do it. Because they were like, we're not even gonna fire this guy. We're just gonna get rid of him. We're gonna bury this dude. Great. That's great writing. Raj said, Mission Impossible 1 was serious and had a strong spy thriller feel to it up until the 5th movie. Oh. Yeah, but again, like, these movies changed, right? The last 4 have been different. And like I think so far, I don't like Rogue Nation as much. There is a seriousness to it, the Jeremy Renner character is very serious. But Ghost Protocol, I think, is my favorite. But especially because even in that they had like little callbacks and what happened to your wife and this and that. You know what I mean? And made it make sense. But I mean, there is a seriousness to them. It is espionage. Again, it's not Naked Gun. Oh, I'm tripping.
Place in Alaska.
Yeah.
Right. And you flash back 30 years later, and guess where you find him? Alaska. It's some nice little like tying the bow, I think, on that particular character. And him and his wife, shout out to Pisa, man. She was a real one. She was funny.
Yeah, she was cool.
She was
but how many bows are you going to tie before you're just like, where's the present?
Right. I'll give them Donlo. That was cool. Jim Phelps Jr., inexcusable.
That was stupid.
That was very stupid.
There was no need for that. Shout out my guy Shane Wiggum. I love that dude. He makes everything better.
He had to be your son? What?
He had to be your son. Hey, and then that's it.
By the way,
in like
sorry.
3 scenes.
The gigantic belly laugh for me. My favorite part of the whole movie is when after he's like done the whole plane thing, and he walks up to Shea Wiggum, and then he pulls a gun on him, and then he puts it away, and then he shakes his hand, and then he daps him up.
The dap was crazy.
Let's get into some criticisms.
2 white men dab. That was crazy, but hey, shout out to
Let's get into some criticisms of mine that have endured.
Sure.
Okay. So even the Jim Phelps thing is very indulgent because I have reasons in my head as to why they did that. The original actor who played Jim Phelps was super fucking pissed. Look up his name, somebody. He's a TV legend. Was super fucking pissed
they did that to him?
at the way Jim Phelps was portrayed. Peter Graves. At the way Jim Phelps was portrayed in Mission Impossible from 96. He was pissed off. He was like, you can look it up. He goes,
they ruined the character.
It's a big deal then. Well, not a big deal. It's a big deal to film nerds like myself. Nobody else gave a fuck. I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna stop saying that something was a big deal that was a big deal to me. Nobody gave a shit.
Well, obviously you say it's a big deal. That's like saying in my opinion. Obviously it's my opinion. I'm saying it.
Yeah. Tupac died in 96. That was a big deal. All right. The fact that the original actor in this movie didn't like his character, not a big deal at all. But to people who watch movies and were overindulgent and stuff like that and never knew that they would make a living years and years later talking about shit that happened in 96, it was a big deal to us. He came out and said, you know what? I would rather that they'd have said that Jim Phelps, I'm retiring away to some place in Hawaii and handed the franchise off like that.
Yeah.
He did not appreciate them taking his character that was in the show for that long, was the hero, and making him into the villain of the movie.
Yeah.
He didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, and again, I've never seen the show. But yeah, they do kind of flip that character on his head, probably undeservingly.
I think this is a way to reconcile that. To have Jim Phelps, who is essentially the little Haitian T'Challa in this movie.
Oh
That's who he is.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. To have Jim Phelps exist on as someone who is good and someone who is with Ethan.
Shea Wiggum's an asshole in this movie.
Yeah, he's a dickhead in this whole movie.
But at the end, they worked through it. So I think they worked through it.
Like this and then that.
They're just like, you're still like, your son's an asshole, just like you were in the first movie. But
I think they're trying to like rehabilitate.
Like, come on,
the Jim Phelps character.
A character that we didn't care about either.
I really
anyway,
do. I think they care. I really think they're trying to do that. Okay, number 2.
That's crazy.
The performances in this movie are really odd in the world.
Sure.
Okay. Haley Atwell's character. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't do anything for this movie. She's just a pretty face. And like I said, I bring that up because of how like the other femme fatales are. and she's not even like a overly. She's like it's almost like a Indiana Jones type love interest. Like she's still kind of like rugged, like around the edges. But she doesn't add anything to this movie. And I mean, if they made a new movie and she wasn't in it, it would just be like same old, in my opinion. That's like the one kind of thing about this movie that I didn't care about.
Who aren't particularly good in the movie.
All right, I will say this. I love Nick Offerman. I love.
No,
Nick
he's great.
Offerman.
He's great.
When he dies, it's almost as bad as when Talia
No,
dies.
I actually love that.
I
love that. I laughed so hard.
I laughed when he died.
No matter,
I
bro.
laughed. Like embarrassed Kalika yesterday. Embarrassed her. Like I laughed.
so hard.
I laughed
Jesus.
in the theater, and she hit me. She's like, "Fucking, I walk out." Like like I laughed. So like a lot of the performances, they're odd and weird, and it doesn't seem like it's particularly well acted.
I don't know, man. Like the dude. We'll talk about like the MVPs of the movie later, but the guy who was just like, you gave him an aircraft carrier. He was hitting Charles Parnell. I'm pretty sure I'm saying the name right. He was Warlock in Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah,
in those scenes, like he was hitting like. I don't know. Maybe I thought like the Nick Offerman death scene was kind of nuts, and
that
like,
was so funny.
That was crazy because that came out of nowhere. Like, why is that guy trying to shoot the president?
I'm gonna need your sidearm, son. It's getting a little hot in this room.
I didn't understand like what the thing was. That might have been something that stitched together. But I thought for the most part, like again, I think that scene at the beginning when he's in handcuffs is probably the weakest part of the movie because they're just explaining stuff that we already saw. They're like looking back at the history of Tom Cruise, or we call him Tom Cruise, looking back at the history of Ethan Hunt. Like we just didn't see that like 20 minutes ago. I thought like they didn't really need that exactly. But I thought when at the end of the movie, when that same guy's like, he did it. That son of a bitch actually did.
See, that's so.
I was so scared, man.
That was, it's funny. A crazy son of a.
No,
bitch
he needed to do it like I needed that bigger. I need like that son of a bitch. Like I needed something bigger than that.
Also,
get your shit off.
If we're talking about negative, we're still talking about negatives.
Jesus.
I love Hannah Waddingham.
What the fuck was that accent?
And it's
what the fuck was that?
It's because it's not bad, but I know what she sound like for real.
There's nothing about her that says American at all.
It's just and she's a great actress.
Yeah, she's
right?
incredible. But
I was just like, this don't sound like. I know what you sound like. But Austin Butler talked like Elvis for 2 years. I was like, nah, bro. I know what you sound like. Why are you talking like this? Talk regular. You from Orange County. Talk like you from the OC.
Talk like a person.
You had a take?
Jeez.
Niggas is lying, bro. I don't like this movie. I like the plane. Here's the thing. The biplane shit was amazing.
I'm not lying. I was honest. I said I didn't
like
it.
We also got to stop this in podcast land. We were like, yeah, I didn't fuck with the movie. But then I saw it a second time, and it's not that bad. Like, I'm just like...
That's not real?
It can grow on you.
Yeah,
no.
Wait a second. Wait a
second.
Hold on for a second. Stop. This is really rich coming from you motherfucker. You have cultivated a bit over the last 5 years where you hate every fucking movie, okay? And it doesn't matter if it's The Godfather. He's like, hey, man, Tessio, fuck Tessio. It doesn't matter what the fucking movie is.
Yo, honestly, like, it's really to the point where it's like, why is Chuck doing movies? Like, honestly, like, this is just, it's like, it's almost like you're forcing him to do this. Like, why do you do this if, like, you just don't like it? Honestly, that's just my opinion.
What are we talking about?
And we've allowed you to do this. And we've allowed you to do this.
4 months straight.
And we've allowed you to do this. I took upon your persona in The Last of Us podcast, and
was it exhausting?
I could tell it hurt you. You were like, how can I up the fucking toxicity? I gotta say, fuck somebody. Like, I gotta join Turning Point USA. And now, and we've believed you and let you, and now you're choking out my true experience. I saw the movie. I didn't like it at first. I saw it again, and the shit worked the second time. I'm just being for real. I think I'm being serious. The shit worked the second time because the first time I saw it, and I'm just being real with the audience in all seriousness, I was just taken aback by so many things. I was like, yo, why are they acting like this? Like, why is Ving Rhames acting like this? Why is all of this stuff happened? I think when I went into it the second time, I was more able to slip into the world that they were creating.
Wait, if I'm being actually like 100% serious, I think the thing that like kind of, I was like, this is kind of, I don't want this in my movie is, I don't know if this movie was designed to be the final one. They're probably going to make another Mission Impossible, but this seemed like a movie in reshoots after Dead Reckoning didn't do that well, where they're just like, Tom's getting up there. We have like the submarine and we have the biplane. We believe in these sequences, but
you're right.
We got to do something emotionally to make this seem more important. And I was like, you don't got to do all this.
So the movie, in my most honest assessment of it, is we have 2 scenes in the film that are so unbelievably ambitious.
Yeah.
And so unbelievably well done that if we nail those 2 sequences, you can't not like the movie. So how can we orient a story around those 2 things that make those 2 things actually necessary? And
okay, I agree with that. If this is like, hey, I have this in my mind as a writer, and I have this scene, and this happens, and now I got to put a story around it. Absolutely fine. If you want to say that's how they came up with this. And to Chuck's point, okay, let Chuck cook. If they're gonna say that, like, like, hey, is this the last one or not? You know what I mean? Like, I get all of that. And there is, I don't know. But I think to Van's point, like, yo, we're gonna give you something so dope that no matter what, like, you're not gonna say this movie's trash. And I mean, that's ambitious in itself.
Have those things retain the amount of suspense needed to justify the grandiosity of the sequences. So you have to have the Podkova. All of these things have to be going wrong. Good. The fucking submarines falling off. Ethan could have died. I meant to count, but I think Ethan could have died 30 different times.
Yeah.
On the way there, on the way up, so much stuff has to go right? And to your point, you get that. It comes away with that. The first time you see it, I think that to me, it was just like, it didn't. The second time, I'm like, okay, I can see how that. Yeah.
But here's the thing I actually like, the goofy part of the movie that I actually did like was like, I think it's so dope that everybody's like, man, Tom Cruise is the only, Ethan Hunt's the only motherfucker who could do this. Come on, man. He's the only, like, he's Jesus. And I was just like, by the time you see the submarine shit, and the time you see the biplane shit,
he's like, you might be Jesus.
I'm like, yeah, Ethan Hunt's the only nigga who could do this.
Yeah.
I almost did not need all the exposition. I didn't care. I just did not care. I was like, there's nothing you can tell me that is going to make the submarine like cool. Like, I'm like, it's already so cool. You don't even, I'm like, you could have started the movie right here and I would have been locked in. I'm just like,
when Gabriel was like, I brought 2 planes, one for a spare. I'm like, oh, thank God, it's happening soon.
Gabriel has that moment in the movie. Ethan is crawling up the side of the plane and Gabriel's like, what the fuck? What is this nigga on? He's like, what? Ethan's crawling. And Gabriel's like, oh my God. And then Gabriel gets out over his skis and he gets hunted.
That was crazy. Hunted.
But also that is...
He went out sad. I'm not going to
That was so funny.
2 planes is so funny though. Because he's just like, Ethan, I bought 2 just in case you escape. And I was just like, this is why I like this shit. To your point, I left being annoyed by the movie. But because the spectacle of those final 2 scenes is so over the top, it does do the summer blockbuster thing where I was just like, It's still a win. Like still
Still
a good time at the movies. You know?
Exactly.
I kind of liken it to you go to Disneyland. You forget the time that you spend waiting in line.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
For sure.
Like when you're waiting in line, you're like, hey man, what the fuck, man?
Like, how many phone games do I have on this thing?
It's like I know all of y'all not trying to ride Indiana Jones. I'm the only one that likes this ride. Like, what the hell? The ride is going, the ride is going, the ride is going. And then when you get inside of the ride's like a minute 30 long. It's like 2 minutes long. Like, but you don't remember the time that you waited in line because the ride is so amazing. But you spend a lot of time in these different places waiting in line.
But like,
and that's kind of what Mission Impossible
like,
is. There was a lot of waiting in line for the amusement park rides.
Because when we went for this,
I've never heard that as an analogy for a movie. That's so interesting. So interesting.
Star Wars thing, what I forgot is I'm like, to your point, in the middle of the day when it's hot and you gotta wait a little bit, you pissed. But I'm like, Disneyland does the thing where they put off the fireworks at night.
Yeah.
It's a small world.
Yeah.
People are eating cotton candy. And it's like, if I have to give McQuarrie and Tom Cruise, I do have to say, like, they are the type of movie professionals where they're like, I can guarantee if you ask Tom Cruise, was the first 3/4 of the movie bullshit? He's like, yeah, but we left you happy. We left you satisfied.
We put our heart and souls into these 3 sequences. We did all this work.
Just like, to me, I put them on the level of like a James Cameron, where I'm like, even if you don't like the Avatar films, just because of what you're seeing on screen, you're like, man, they don't do this shit anymore.
Yeah, you're like, the technology involved, just the world itself. You're so immersed into it. Can we talk about Ethan Hunt as a fighter real quick?
Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to then talk about a couple of the things that I wanted to talk about the movie. I think they've all like given their opinion of the movie. Van and Jomi liked it or enjoyed it more than the other two, which is fine. That's why you have like a group of people and everyone has their opinion. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, come back, and then explain like what I liked it, and then I'll let them close it out with their remarks. Let's see. Yo, by the way, like I said, y'all help me get to 100 subscribers, and then we can talk about feet. On another note, have y'all tried these? Tropical pineapple. My favorite are usually like the blueberry. And then they got these vanilla ones. Not sponsored, by the way. All right. All right, so like I said, I wanted to kind of take a break from what the Midnight Boys was saying and talk about the movie myself, what I liked about it, and just as a recap, I've been watching, pretty much catching up on all the movies. I still gotta rewatch Fallout and then Dead Reckoning, and I've already seen Final Reckoning. So overall, my favorite notion about the movie is that this is a team. Actually, no, I'm not the only person that would be excited about that type of conversation, because to Van's point, there's a lot of people that are excited about that. All I'm saying is you're not gonna get that conversation out of me without nothing. Excuse me. So y'all help me help you, and then y'all can get what you want. Anyway, I'm fine doing what I'm doing. Anyway, what I like about the Mission Impossible as a series is these three groups of people. Even though they come in at different levels in different movies, they're still like the main unit, right? They're like the A team, and then they get assistance by other people. And then they, like I said, they've always had like a femme fatale that's helped them. You know, Jeremy Renner was helping them. But this is like the A team Avengers, right? And then you got other people to come in and do stuff. The other thing is, there's no way that you can't tell me that Tom Cruise ain't like risking his life, bro. And as a person that used to want to be a ninja because they run on roofs and climb and do all of that stuff, you know, to see a person do this stuff in real life is amazing. And a lot of stunt people don't get enough credit for what they actually do. And nowadays, so much stuff is CGI. We don't know who's really doing what. But going into the movie, knowing that Tom Cruise is already kind of risking his life, thinking of bigger and better things to do to show, yeah, there may be an ego in it. I don't think anyone doubts that Tom Cruise has an ego, but I mean, these scenes are just amazing. And I've only flown a plane once in my life, and I couldn't imagine running around the outskirts of the plane while the plane was being flown. That's just me. But not only is it like that scene where he's kind of like hanging, but I mean, there's this scene again, spoilers, right? Where he's literally suspended in between the wings of the plane. And you know, the plane is going like there's this whole thing all on off, whatever, and he's literally like just rotating around it. Like it's crazy, bro. And I think I knew more about well, I guess I didn't really know. I knew about him hanging off the plane. I didn't know about the whole like him being suspended between the wings part of it. And then this scene was just crazy. Some people may not appreciate it. Some people may have never set foot on a submarine before. Not to say that I've ever, you know, been on a deployed submarine, but as a person that has actually put my foot on a submarine and know that that's a type of environment that would probably give me nightmares, the action scenes that he was able to pull off in that is just amazing. Not to mention that, what was it? Aliens, I think it was. No, not Alien. There was another movie that I seen earlier this year where they were it was like a whole underwater scene with submarines, and they got like flushed out, and I forgot what movie that was. Somebody recommended me watch that movie. It was like an old 80s movie, and I don't think it was called Poseidon, but something. But like people are like, oh, Avatar and this and that, because they're able to do all of this like movement and stuff underwater. But I mean, this is as ground level as you can get doing stunts and stuff. And like to the point that the boys were talking about, it's not just him in this big bulky suit either. Like there's other stuff that he has to do that really can put his body under like some real pressure. I mean, you talking about like hypothermia, you talking about like the weight and the gravity and the pressure of being under the ocean and all of that. There's just so much stuff that's going on, man. And yeah, I mean, sure, it's his ego, but it's worth seeing. And then, like I said, I didn't really like the whole love scene between him and Haley Atwell. I don't think she did anything to add any real value to the movie. But at this point, it is what it is. Like, you just accept it or not. So I like how Van and Jomi were talking about seeing it in the IMAX. I do want to go see this in IMAX before, what is it? The Dragon movie comes out and it's not in there anymore to see. I think it would just be really dope. Even if like that's the last time I ever watched the movie, I think it'd be worth seeing that. And the idea of like when you turn the latch in the door and then like the perspective changes. I mean, I'm sure that's pretty dope. I'm sure it is. So for me, that's what I enjoyed about Dead Reckoning. Now, as far as them, continuing on, I like there's no definitive like, oh, this person died, so you can't do it. But there's also no like definitive like we've passed the torch either. So I don't think that they can do it without bringing Ethan Hunt back. But I mean, even Robert De Niro and Morgan Freeman and all of them are in their 80s and 90s doing movies. So he may do like a consultant, grandfather type thing where he got his little people under him doing it. I don't know. Anything's possible. But I mean, as long as they make money, I don't think he'll stop. He just may slow down, if that's even possible. And other than that, like there were like a bunch of people in this movie that were just a little bit it was a little bit bloated. There's a lot of people in this movie. Like the Tramiel character from Severance is in it. This Katie O'Brien, she's been an up and coming actress, right? Isai Morales is back. I don't even know what this chick did. They had Hannah in it. Like she had a role. Like it was just bloated. It was in it. I think this was her son. You know what I mean? Like you had Mantis in it. Like it was bloated for no reason. And yeah, like if this was like the send off, then cool. But that's my only kind of like that idea of like there's a lot of exposition and stuff happening. Yeah, because there's a lot of like people talking that might have been unnecessary. That and then the love interest thing are my only two kind of like downsides, but that wouldn't stop me going to watch it in IMAX. So, you guys let me know in the comments, do you like Mission Impossible movies? And I'll even write it. Do you I can spell it right. Prefer MI movies over James Bond. And I'll pin that. To the top. And, you know, to me, these movies are for everybody, and that's fine. It's still a summer blockbuster. And the fact that, I mean, you know, Tom Cruise is able to put the money behind it and get it made, I think it is dope. There's not a lot of actors putting up their own money and being able to make stuff happen, especially as, you know, seems Hollywood lets us down more and more, in my opinion. All right, so let's get back to what the Midnight Boys had to say to wrap it up. Then we'll talk about the Tom Cruise's stunts, and then we'll move on to Mobland.
Like hands?
Mopping people up in the movie.
That
That's what
that
he
knife
does,
fight
brother.
in the submarine was
That's
awesome.
actually
That's
fucking
fire.
amazing.
That's a great fight scene.
That's a great fight scene where
Close
Tom's
quarters.
athleticism. Now, that's Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no stunt double for that.
Right.
There might be, but I
Maybe,
don't think
but-
so.
That is a really intense John Wick style hand-to-hand fight scene. Like, I was wondering when I first saw the film, in the first fight scene, I was like, oh, does Tom not want to do that type of stuff anymore? Which is why maybe they didn't show as much as that of that as they would have in past years. And no,
I thought that was a reshoot. Like, I thought that was
I
probably
mean,
it
was shot great.
we don't want to like get somebody to redo like all this fight choreography.
Maybe.
It's gonna be a joke. Because there were a couple like parts in the movie where I'm like, I think a lot of the acting where we're just like, why is the acting kind of like very TV-ish? Those to me were the reshoots where some people were in a room locked together. And I think that's one of my criticisms of the movie. I almost think Tom Cruise, not almost, I know, Tom Cruise's charisma sucks too much air out of the room. Where I feel like what this doesn't have that the Fast and Furious has, it's like there's no other characters in this movie besides Tom Cruise. Like Haley Atwell was so good, but she has nothing to do.
Charles, in no way is the Fast and Furious in any way fucking with this movie. No way. There's no version. There's nothing.
Not
I
even
want to
Fast-
have this
not even Fast
conversation.
Five?
There's no The Fast and Furious is shout out to the Fast and the Furious. Love watching those movies.
You talking about as a franchise?
No, I'm talking about Charles just said there's something that the Fast and the Furious does better than this.
Yes, there are actors and characters that have to get moments and get like punchlines and have whole story arcs. And there's a whole world.
You're saying
this
that
movie now is just like nobody in this movie besides Ethan gets to do shit. Like Ben, I'm like, why is Benji here?
I would say that like not a problem, but a noticeable thing about most of the like later Mission Impossible movies is that like it's hard for Tom to not suck up all of the spotlight.
Not really.
In those
Well,
movies.
there's no other character
Yeah.
besides.
They are bloated though. Like I said, the characters. There's a lot of actors and actresses in this movie unnecessarily compared to the earlier ones. So I don't know why that is.
It's honestly, besides Luther and Benji, the rest of these motherfuckers, I'm just like, y'all the B team. Like,
I literally just
Hey,
come on, leave a heart in the comment, a like or something. Didn't I just literally just say 18 B team? Literally just said that. Come on, your boy, and I didn't see this before. Come on, your boy know what he's talking about.
Respect Degas. All right.
Hey, at first I was like, this guy with the cheekbones is not doing nothing.
The guy with the cheekbones.
But then
isn't doing
by the end of the movie, I feel like his character ended up in a place where you were like, hey, things might have been a little hairy had he not been here. He's flying the planes. He's helping Don Lo and his wife.
Mhm.
It seems as if that character was an afterthought at first, but by the end, he was part of the
I
team.
never
Part of
thought
the
I'd
team.
say this. Niggas, bring Jeremy Renner back. Like, come on,
Oh,
bro.
wow.
No,
Oh,
what
wow.
I, hey,
Whoa,
hey,
whoa,
my hot
whoa,
take.
whoa,
My take.
whoa.
I'll do you one up. I think that the whole series should have been surrendered to Rebecca Ferguson after
All right,
Rogue
now
Nation.
to it.
Okay.
Turn his mic off.
Oh, you can't. You don't
Turn his
even
mic
like me
off.
suggesting a woman.
Turn his mic off. Here's
You
the
don't like
thing.
me suggesting a woman?
Here's the thing.
You're
Nah.
polishing the glass
Nah,
ceiling up there.
nah.
This is the problem,
Nah.
Steve. Because now we
I
have
was
to.
Dick Ryan earlier though.
Yeah,
I pointed out that's
we
bigger.
have to.
We're
We have
shout
to.
out to Rebecca Ferguson.
I love Rebecca
By the
Ferguson.
way, hey,
The movie missed her after she got off Dead Reckoning.
For a
It's
dumb
different.
fucking reason.
Well, she was like, I'm trying to make Dune in Silo, man. Y'all got me.
so
I
look, we want to
understand
say this real quick though.
but-
We support women-led.
I mean, and shout out to her in Silo, for sure. But no, they shouldn't have gave it to her.
Absolutely.
But
You
respect
see,
Ethan
see how
Hunt.
I don't have to say this?
Respect Ethan Hunt.
but,
All right.
there's no. Come on, Steve.
Respect
Come on,
Ethan Hunt. Come on,
Come
man.
on,
Be for real.
Steve.
Come on, man.
Steve,
Tom
hold on. We're gonna
Cruise,
give you
bro.
the opportunity to take that back. Take it back.
Take what back?
That Rebecca Ferguson should be the lead of Mission Impossible.
No.
All right.
This is all right. This is
Come on,
we were
bro.
talking. We were having to
Amateurs.
talk in the back. We do got to get into a point as a society where we could just keep it 100% real. Nigga, I go to Mission Impossible see
Tom Cruise.
That's
Wait,
fine.
wait,
Come on, Tom.
That's fine.
Steve.
That's
You
not-
can't.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Steve.
For real.
Nah.
Okay.
Okay, that's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Yeah.
That's your
Wait,
opinion.
wait, so-
Steve's opinion.
Haley Atwell, to me, is an actress that should have had more to do. Like, I think
Yeah.
like the heart, like one of the hearts of the movie, I was like, yo, when she's like resuscitating him and he's just like fucking freezing, she's like, it's okay, it's okay. I'm like, this is the movie. Give me more of this shit, bro.
The
Like,
scene where like he's still underwater and the camera like he hits the ice cap and it flips.
That was
man.
beautiful.
Come
That was
on.
great.
And she
Come
settles
on,
down.
man.
set him up.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I mean, her point in the movie, you're right. What differentiates a good thief from a great thief? Timing.
I
Right?
love that shit. That was the dumbest shit ever where there was just like, yeah, she's a master pickpocket. She the only one who can grab it in 1/1,000,000th of a second or whatever. I'm
I
like,
have
this
a
is the dumb
question.
shit I like.
I have
Yeah.
a question. How did she grab 2 walkie-talkies and 2 guns with only 2 hands? Hey, who cares?
She's an
Right?
octopus. She's got like another set somewhere.
Who cares? You know what I'm saying? The whole thing was we're having a good time. And so when right, because you don't see him put the poison pill in the pot cover, so you're waiting along with the characters. The light goes green. She goes, Ethan, clip, boom. I'm like, yo, man, we're
that
here.
scene was
We're here.
crazy, bro.
He doesn't have a parachute.
That was
He's
good.
falling from
So
the
this is
sky.
what I
How's he
would
gonna
say.
do it?
This is what I would say. I would say that I felt like Benji had his own stuff. Benji got to be team leader. He had his own side mission at the listening station. She got her own stuff.
She did.
I
Palm
do
Clementine?
feel like there were other characters who
It was
were a little
bloated.
bit like less important.
Paris didn't get to do nothing.
Yeah.
I love
Paris
Palm
was-
Clementine.
Paris
She was
giving out-
awesome.
Giving out hands.
Yeah.
That was her. Hey, Paris, come here to do what she say? I kill people. What she do? She was killing people.
She
Yeah.
also saved Benji's life.
And she saved
Right.
Benji's life.
That was a funny, just like, you need to save me. I'm like, I kill people. What are you talking
But
about?
like, but
The
the
tourniquet. Yeah, it was like, come on, you know what a stab wound is. You could help me.
scenes.
Now hold on.
I love Ving Rhames. And I get it. He's old, so he can't really be like on missions like that.
Yeah, he can't.
Like he a legend.
I
Ving
need to
Rhames
go
is a
where the
legend,
entity
but that
can't
shit
find
pissed
me.
off a little bit.
So here's the thing, right?
It pissed me off.
We talked about this like on a pod, like me might have mentioned it. We were like, man, we see Ving Rhames in the hospital gown, man, it might be over for our boy. He went on like it did suck to see him go, but he went on like a G, man. Hey,
We're both on the
you're
right side of that
we're
gate.
brought on the right side of that gate. You know, listen, this entire thing is the sum of our choices. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there. He's like, yo, you gotta go, man. You only got 45 seconds. I love you, brother. Come on, man.
Now, let me tell y'all something. What are y'all gonna do?
He was definitely the emotion. He was definitely the emotion for the movie.
When in future movies, the entity is now actually a Ving Rhames AI that helps Tom Cruise. I swear to God, they're gonna do something like that. I swear to God, the entity is now.
So
The entity is now.
It sound-
Ving
it's-
Rhames did the poison pill thing,
right.
and the entity
Is
is
now
now,
Ving
in the
Rhames
little
shaped.
drive. They did
Didn't
not
destroy
destroy the entity.
Nope.
Still there.
They have the entity.
Why didn't they just smash
Why?
that
They're
thing?
going to use the,
Well,
because the entity will be Mission Impossible, the entity. The next movie, it will be helping Ethan Hunt, and it will be voiced by Ving Rhames, who is now the Jarvis.
He's spitting facts though, and that way, Ving Rhames is still there still there getting paid without having to be on camera. He ain't lying.
To
That
Ethan
actually
Hunt's
is kind of dope
Tom
that he's
Cruise.
just in his ear the whole time. My big question: why did you go into the entity coffin?
You have to go into that entity coffin. That's how he found.
That's
That's
how
how
he
he
found
figures out how everything works. That's why he's like, oh, he showed me the decompression chamber, the plane, the whole thing, the Sosa station. That's how he put it all together. Gets it, he writes it down, he gives it to Benji. He's like, I gotta go save Luther. That's how he put the whole plan together in the first place.
I was like,
The whole movie is
man.
Ethan convincing people to believe in him.
one last time.
Yeah,
One last time.
and that's. I want to be mad at that part, but every single time that nigga said that shit, I'm like, I do believe you.
I do believe you, Tom
As a
Cruise.
matter of
I
fact,
do
if
believe
I was Ethan Hunt, I wouldn't have even gone about it that way. I mean, I'm not going to talk to Erica like that, the president.
That was crazy.
Don't.
But I wouldn't have talked to her. But everybody else, I'd have been like, shut up. Give me what I need. Because I've done this a bunch of
I've
times.
done this at least 7 times.
Like, give him a Mission
if I was
Impossible
Ethan
box
Hunt,
set.
if I was Ethan Hunt, I would kill Kittredge. Kittredge gotta die.
Yeah.
Kittredge is
Why
one of
didn't
the
he kill
biggest.
Kittredge before? Like, why didn't he
Kittredge
stop
is
him?
one of the biggest threats to the security of the world that ever existed. Kittredge is always trying to stop Ethan.
Yep.
He never has any ideas of his own.
Right.
He is not. Kittredge is the biggest fucking hater that's ever existed in any spy movie franchise ever.
That's ultimately what it is. He's the ultimate hater because, again, he gets out of the little base, whatever. The president lets him go. And then Kittredge is like, yeah, I kind of figured you do that. Cool. I'm going to go to South Africa. I'm not going to tell nobody just to mess with Ethan at this point. It's not really about saving the world. It's about getting one up on the dude at that point. He just an all-time hater.
But I will say, I'm not the first one to shout out this scene, but dog, it was so funny when Tom Cruise was taking a shower in a submarine and them like they were licking their chops. It was all horny.
What was that?
I was like,
That lady was just like,
Hold
take
on.
care of my suit. Excuse me?
Shout out Katie O'Brien. Listen, that whole first of all, that's the horniest submarine I ever
That's
seen.
real.
Because Brad Bro, Tramel Tillman, dog, MVP of the movie. He came in.
he's a star.
If this was
He's great.
If this
I
was
love him.
rewatchables, that's the Dion Waiters Award.
Mister.
Man. He called it Mister.
He didn't know his name.
Yeah, but he couldn't know his name. It's classified.
Classified, yeah.
This
On
when
the
he was
submarine.
Mister. If you want to poke the bear,
You found the right
Oh,
damn
you've come
place.
to the
That's
right
my
man.
shit.
Oh, he's cooking, man.
By the way,
he was
bro,
cooking.
Severance is up. People in the theater
Oh,
was
yeah.
going crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
No chick shows up. It's great. By the way, another cameo from Severance. What's her name? The pilot.
Yeah.
The one that jumps off of the board's end of this call.
Oh, that
Girl like
I
that.
also gotta say, Van, JOMI, y'all are turning me around. Now I'm thinking about
Oh,
all
what the hell?
the movie that I did enjoy. Now that I'm actually talking about the good parts, I'm like,
You know what's
I
happening?
apologize.
You're rewatching it. You're
I
rewatching it.
Are you rewatching it in your mind?
All right, Raj. All right, come on. Chuck is coming around. It's your turn. It's your turn. Are you coming around now? Are you ready to admit it? Are you ready to watch it? Come on, IMAX. Come on, let's go see it.
Sorry for
in real
everybody,
time.
like,
You're rewatching it.
you guys are. I'm starting to come closer to your
I'm
side.
telling
yeah.
you, on the first watch of the movie, I'm being for real. On the first watch of the movie, I was like, yo, this shit is ridiculous. Like, this shit is ridiculous. It was
boy.
a
If Chuck can do it,
2
you
hour
can
and
do it.
45-minute Tom Cruise, like, suck fest. It was.
Yeah.
Blazing.
Yeah.
And then the second time, I sat down and I'm like, because I had already poisoned Kalika's mind to it. I was like, yeah, man, this shit whack. And she was sat down, she was like, I mean, did you see the plane thing? That's not whack at all. It's like, I've never seen anything like that in the movie.
But to your point, like the movie does. Once they get to the submarine and all the stuff start happening, that's
Yeah.
when, to me, I'm actually like,
Now the movie starts.
I was like, you guys could have just started the movie here. Like, you guys
really could have.
could've
You
started
really
the
It's
could
movie
have.
actually
there.
a good idea, to be honest with you.
And as somebody who enjoyed the movie the first time, I completely agree. Right? You have the little suck fest at the beginning when you go through all of
Not
the
little.
stuff.
That's like an hour 45.
No. I'm talking about like at the beginning when he's getting the download from the president.
Oh, yeah.
Right? If you want to do your flashbacks, you do it right there.
Yeah.
And then you like go through the movie. Like once he gets off the boat, once he jumps into the water, the movie just
Yeah,
like,
that, yeah.
He's singing,
Okay.
like, it's because we might have already talked about it.
All right, so they told you the timestamp, 1 hour and 45 minutes. Why don't you just watch the second half of the movie and see if you like it? There you go. Just watch the second half. You don't have to watch the whole thing. They already explained it. You already know what happened, right? They glaze him, right, for 1 hour and 45. Just watch it from that point. Watch the second half, see if you like it. Why not? Challenge.
But we have to like just stress, like it's not just the biplane. When all the shit in the submarine is crashing and shit,
Yeah.
and when
He
he's
gets
about to
hooked
fall,
onto
he has to take off the. I'm like, he's not taking off his suit. He got
That shit is freezing,
in the
bro.
fucking missile. He's launched out of this shit. I'm like, he's dying.
Bro.
And also when he was just like, what does Tom Cruise say? He was just like, yeah, your little chamber was never part of our plan.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like,
He's like, let's go.
Yeah, it's like, so, then what was your plan? Come
Bro,
on.
I gotta
Come
tell you
on.
something. I gotta believe, bro. Ethan force sensitive, bro.
Ethan's force
He
sensitive.
gotta be. Ethan's in the Bering Sea. About when that scene was happening, I thought about Jack from Titanic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jack was in the
Punch
water
in the air
probably
right
a
now.
lot longer, but Jack was in the water. Jack froze.
What
Ethan
Jack-
was down in the bottom of freezing water.
How
no
deep-
suit.
how
No
high up did he
suit.
go?
He was in
It was
biker
like
shorts.
wait, how many miles did they say? Like
I thought it was like at least 1,000 feet.
I think it was
Yeah.
like 300 or 500 feet or something.
Yeah.
Okay, well then that's not that crazy.
Also,
but
the
they
wife-
just kept saying like 6 times, like you're gonna get the bends and you're gonna die.
Yeah.
the wife was also being a little freaky because like
Watch it,
watch it.
Haley
First
was,
of all,
like,
when
kinda
does the
getting- she was
decompression chamber have room for 2, let alone a bed?
Listen, you can, you know what I'm saying? You get a twin bed, you can fit 2 people on there.
Why? Wait,
All right.
why isn't Ethan like? Why doesn't he like be like Haley? Like you actually my queen? Like why is it? Why doesn't he?
He's never like the closest we ever got to like a commitment from
Well,
him was
they
with
married.
Ilsa, and even then it's
Oh, he
really
got
just-
married. Oh, you
Oh,
mean
sorry,
on
you're
mission?
right,
You mean
you're
on
right.
mission?
Yeah, on mission.
I mean, he married Michelle
Mm.
Monaghan, but like that. was
Nobody
only
else
one
after
movie,
that.
You know what I
Do
mean?
you think Haley's just like I see what happens to all the women in your life? I'm like I'm good.
She ain't been there long
either
enough.
almost die or die.
Honestly,
maybe.
Ethan has a cursed dick. If we're being honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't need
like-
any
I mean, we don't know
international
what happened to
troubles.
Tandy Newton. You know, like
Wait,
out
why
there.
did she come back?
Oh yeah, you know what? They of all the I guess they brought back some stuff from 2, but not as much stuff from 2 as they did with the other movies. 2 was kind of the forgotten movie
Two's absolutely the forgotten one.
in
yeah.
terms of reconciling all the stuff from the franchise
Who would-
past.
Who would you trust to like on a mission? Ethan Hunt or Stitch?
From Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Why? What are we talking about?
Because that's my goat. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had a Mount
Smile on your face as they review this movie is the same smile I had when they reviewed Sinners. No Voice has a cult following for a reason, and I'm proud to be a part of it. But who brings up Lilo and Stitch to a Mission Impossible movie? Like, what are we talking about?
Rushmore of movie characters, he's up there for me. So I got to go with one of my goats. I got to go with Ethan.
But Stitch saved the world and nobody had to die.
and nobody had to. Well,
He didn't
some
save
people.
the
Well, here's
world.
the thing. Well, so the thing with Ethan, in particular, is that some people may. It's like that Farquaad. Some of you may die,
But
and
it's
that's a
sacrifice
sacrifice
I'm
I'm willing to make. No, it's more the fact that like Ethan can't let his friends die, right? And that's something that we saw in Rogue Nation, that we see in Fallout, and that I mean, and Kit Reach talks about this all the time, and so does the villain. Ethan would risk billions of lives
For
one
his
of
friends. Yeah.
right? If they got nukes pointed, the death beam pointed at Earth,
And don't worry,
Right.
you can tell
We're gonna
whose
blow
missiles
this
are which
whole
because
thing
their
up.
flags are on every single one.
and he's like, yo, but you got to go save Benji. It's like, well, guys,
You
I
gotta
got to go
save
save Benji, man. I know the rest of the world is at stake, but I got a job to do.
You know-
We can do both.
Uh.
We're gonna do both.
You know,
It's the whole thing, and it's just it's an interesting character quirk that they develop like on the second half of the film franchise. I think like honestly makes Ethan's character a little bit more full, a little more better. He's not just some guy who's like, I got to go save the world because of this and that. I
Yeah.
have to go save the world because I got to go save my friends.
Well,
I think that's real.
I had a question about that too, Steve. What's the point of putting flags and logos on nuclear weapons.
I mean, just so you know whose missiles they are.
No, I get.
So when you're looking up at the
point
sky,
of-
like, oh, right.
I get the point of doing it on like a fighter jet because
You got to know who's.
you gotta.
Because you can see the flag coming at you as it blows up. That's how Wanda knew that Tony Stark's missile is the one that killed her parents. Anyway, and everything, any and everything is what they are talking about, and you know you like it because we do that. I guess. Okay.
Know who you're fighting
Unless
and
it's
who
Top Gun Maverick. Who
your
cares?
team is, right?
Yeah.
But on a nuclear weapon, it don't matter. I was looking at all the different flags on the nuclear weapons. I get that they probably do it just because, hey, you know, whatever. But like, it don't matter. Once them motherfuckers start flying,
I mean, that's the thing. We saw the map. Like, we know we saw everybody who had them.
fucking
But
call
also,
them.
what I didn't understand, they tried to explain it too. I'm like, all right, so the entity trying to like blow up the whole world and kill everybody, but he just like the entity just gonna be like chilling underground, not doing nothing.
It's the movie is making a not so subtle commentary on AI.
Yes, no,
Yeah,
I get
no,
that.
yeah.
So the entity AI always gets to the point to where they go, you know what, humans
We'll let you pay
inefficient, fuck 'em.
yourself.
Wipe them all off, start over. So the entity got all of our information studied. So it's going for the next 1,000 years, watch reruns of Married with Children.
You
And
should watch
I,
Murderbot.
I guess the other, watch Murderbot, right? I guess the entity's people are going to be the ones, but how they going to survive?
But also, we are at the point now where it's like every single time I'm on social media scrolling, it'll be like a news story, be like, this rogue AI refused to be shut down. It tried to blackmail its creator.
So
I'm
we
like,
just pulled the plug, and they were speaking in a language we didn't understand.
Yeah,
Christ.
blackmail the people. They try to blackmail the people.
Honestly,
Ethan
they
Hunt
just gotta
trying to
show
tell
that-
y'all.
What was it?
Ethan Hunt's trying to tell y'all, man. Y'all laughing. Y'all like, hey, this movie stinks. He's telling us the future.
He got
So there is like a whole theory with Tom Cruise's movies about kind of like foreshadowing stuff. And I mean, it has to do with Scientology and all of that stuff. But that's been the theory for a long time that Tom Cruise layers different beliefs into his movies, especially when it coincides with Scientology.
the entity now. What is Ethan going to do with the entity?
He's gonna.
You think? Do you guys think that my Luther example, my Luther theory has any
I'm
legs?
so scared that you are 100% right.
That is funny.
Nah.
I do like that he's walking around with a little tiny Pulp
Luther.
Fiction briefcase,
Mhm.
I mean,
just like a little gold.
I
thing.
don't think so because again, the scene in the decompressor chamber where Haley Atwell is like, Grace is telling him, if anybody can have the entity, control the entity, it's him. He's like, no, not me, not anyone. I think she gave it to him because again, she trusts him to do what he deems is best. Imagine what he deems best is going home, taking a sledgehammer and turning it into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, why isn't that the
day.
immediate thing? Because now it sounds like, hey, Tom Cruise, you're the only one that we can trust with AI in Hollywood.
Okay, let's get to the midnight meter.
Okay, Christ alive.
Mission Impossible, Moist Protocol.
Moist.
Oh,
protocol.
God.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
Moist.
All right, I'll go first. I'm gonna give it 2 different scores.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, okay. Okay, so scoring the movie. It's an A. It's an A for me. I didn't get caught up in the whole like what's going on, what's the backstory. I did say that it felt a little bloated. It felt a little franchisey, but I'm going to give it an A. Straight up like that. It definitely has rewatchability, and if it came on TNT, it would definitely be a summer blockbuster. So there you go. That's my rating. And then Raj said, to answer your question from earlier, I prefer Bond every day and twice on Sunday. I mean, yeah, I think Bond is more suave, and it's British. Like, there's a history, there's a lore. But I think when you compare like American heroes, were a little bit more cavalier, were a little bit more freelance and like a maverick for real. And you know, Ethan Hunt is always going against. He's always doing the impossible mission, despite whatever his country has to say. Whereas James Bond is mostly doing for Queen and Country. That's my opinion. All right, let's see what their moist meter is.
Oh, not this shit, bro.
No,
not
man,
this
be-
shit.
right now.
Yo, get
I'm
nah,
gonna give it.
bro.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'm gonna give it a 7. I
What,
think
a 7?
a 7. Because
Wow.
That feels
How about
low
this?
for what you just did.
Not because I thought about this, right? And if we're going through like all the films, right? Mission Impossible, the first one's a 7. The second one's like a 4. Third one's a 7. Ghost Protocol's an 8. Fallout or Rogue Nation is like a 9. Fallout to me is like an 11. And Dead Reckoning's a 7, right? I think the thing about this series that I think is like not as chronic achievement, but something that you only get one that's below like a 7. And for me, like a 7 is something that is completely rewatchable, so we can have fun watching. 7 of the 8 movies up there are above a 7. And so I think for me, despite how much fun I had, I think that there's some stuff that's just like, all right, guys, the gym, like honestly, it'd be an 8 if the Jim Phelps stuff went in there. Like that thing pissed me off to no end. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was no need for that. My guy Shea Wiggum, you have to do you like that, my brother. I love you.
Have your own name.
Right? You know what I'm saying? We could have just been Briggs. He could have been Briggs the whole time. But nah, I had a blast. I love this movie. I love this franchise. I'm sad she go. It's a 7 for me.
Wow.
6.
All right, you hate movies. That's fine.
6.
I do.
Easy 6.
Okay.
It is entertaining enough,
I mean,
but
it's-
only enough.
Nah.
A
I
6,
do wish to your guys' point. Do wish it was a little.
a 6 from Charles is high, in my opinion, because he's usually 3 or 4. So I mean, they're like Jomi's 7 to Charles's 6 is close, I guess. That's crazy. Jomi giving a 7 after all that glazing is PQ. Yeah. Hey, but it's rewatchable. It's a summer blockbuster. It's a popcorn flick. That's what it's supposed to be.
A little bit funnier because some of the things about this movie.
Have some fun with himself.
There was that no. But you guys don't like when he's finding dude in the submarine. He's like, you need
to
stay
spend the time off the internet.
That's funny.
That's
you
the
know
stuff
what
I
I'm
need.
saying?
If he
That's
was
fair.
like when he was like shaking on the submarine floor when it was just coming out, I would be like, anybody got a towel or something? Like, I'm just gonna sit here. Like, come on.
it was
funny.
a good it was a good movie. Man. I ain't lying.
We didn't talk enough about. We talked a little bit about it, but we didn't talk enough about the that fight scene. That's a great fight.
It's a
scene.
great fight scene.
fantastic
The
Great
fight
fight scene is shot perfectly. Tom is rolling
and they're
all of
cutting
that
back
stuff.
and forth between the fight and the Sosa's base with
And that was a great
Tom
fight too,
shooting and
with all the soldiers in the. That was fun. It just
Benji
sucks
was
that the
getting his
movie
thing
didn't
in.
show up for an hour and 45.
not 45. It was man, it might have been like 70
This movie's near 3
It
hours.
might have been like 70 minutes. Might have been like 60.
This is like an hour and 45 minutes of wheel spinning
We didn't even talk about the
before a
Russian
movie
dude
starts.
who was like, if you were me, would you believe me? I was like, all right,
Pretty good.
He had bars. Who's
So
that?
our
It's a
Mission
terrible
Impossible
Russian
rankings now. And so I gotta look at all the movies because it's
I'm going to save the ranking. I'm not gonna do. Like I said, I still gotta rewatch the 3. But I disagree with Jomi about 2. I think 2 is the most iconic. Believe it or not, like 2 had like there's a staple of that was just peak 2000, right? Like him like hanging from the cliff with the long hair, like the motorcycle scene, the knife fights, like it was so stylized that it was just like the whole like I think like kick the gun up and catch it and then fall and shoot. Like it was just so stylized that I think 2 people may not rewatch it, but I can see how people are just like 2 is their favorite because it's the most iconic for me when it comes to Mission Impossible. After that, then it's just all like stunts. But I think 2 stands out on its own as being like the most iconic. Tom Cruise for sure. So I'll save their rankings. I will talk about just briefly talk about the 15 stunts in the entire Mission Impossible franchise is a lot. Like that's just crazy. Okay. So this is in Esquire. This was written 23rd of May. So at the top is the free climbing from Mission Impossible 2. Then you got the underwater vault heist in Rogue Nation. The motorcycle helicopter chase scene from MI2. Exploding aquarium in Prague in the first Mission Impossible. Yeah, that was crazy. And again, like I haven't seen this might have been the first time I ever seen one, but that exploding aquarium was crazy. Like, who thought of that? It was just so much water. And to be honest, I guess I didn't even realize it was an aquarium because it just seemed like they were in like a restaurant. But like when it happened, I was just like, that is so much water. It's crazy. All right, the biker chase in Morocco in Rogue Nation. The missiles on the bridge in MI3. Hanging from the ceiling from the first Mission Impossible. Oh no, that's the most iconic, right? That's when he falls down like that and he just hangs. And they kind of just like rehashed that. They even had Jeremy Renner do it one time. It was pretty dope. Wow, they really got that at 9. The Halo jump in Fallout. Chase through Rome in Dead Reckoning. Helicopter hijack in Fallout. The free fall from the Final Reckoning. From the plane to plane jump. Yeah, that one's crazy. The airplane hop. Yeah, when he went from one plane to the other, for sure. In Final Reckoning. Off the cliff. It's been called the biggest stunt movie in history. And only for the first 2 movies meant to cap off the franchise, Cruise dared to ride a motorcycle. Oh, that one off a cliff. That while in the air transitioned into a base jump. Yeah, that one was crazy. That and then like they even have videos of like behind the scenes and stuff of that. Yeah, that was crazy. Absolutely. Catching a real plane in Rogue Nation. It says hanging from a real plane as it takes off. Cruise commits to authenticity and said in the featurette to have done the stunt 8 times. And then climbing the tallest building on Earth in Ghost Protocol. Yeah. That was to climb the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on Earth. Yeah, that now let me see. Says they actually filmed Cruise hanging 2,722 feet above the ground. Cruise later recalled some of the crew couldn't even go on the floor of a room where the window had been taken out just because of the height issue. It was too much for them. When I'm swinging from the building, I have cross winds, and when you see the shot, you'll see that I'm actually flying. I had to figure out how to do that. I'm on a single rope at that point, and when I leave the building and catch the wind, I'm actually flying and trying to figure out how to move my feet like a rudder to move across the whole arc of the building. So that's the one where he he does like a free climb like up the building. He attaches to the lanyard, and then he jumps and then does like the turn, and then like he kicks himself like into the building, into the window. Yeah, that's for sure the craziest. But man, you gotta appreciate this stuff, man. Like for real. Like we may never ever get this again. So, yo, shout out to Tom Cruise. And thank you for 30 years of Mission Impossible. And you know, whether we get more or not, like just appreciate what all we had and all it took to get that. So shout out to him. All right, let me go get a swig of water, and then we're going to transition into talking about Mobland. And again, let me know at the bottom what's your favorite Mission Impossible movie? Yeah. Or your favorite stunt of Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. Either or. Yo, Raj, to be fair, if Jasmine from the Disney princesses asked me to slap you, then I'd go home with her for the night. I'd do the same to you. I feel you. All right, so this is going to be my follow-up to Mobland. We talked about it briefly the other day. I gave like a synopsis. Sunday, that was before I even finished the season because I didn't watch the last episode. So I'm going to talk about it now for y'all. Spoiler warning, okay? If you have not seen Mobland, put warming. Right. Okay. So last time we spoke about it, I basically gave a synopsis. Conrad Harrigan is a mob crime boss. It seems like it takes place in London. Harry D'Souza is his like number one security person. You got Maeve, who's his wife. You got Kevin, who's his second oldest son. And we talked about Eddie. We finally revealed that Eddie is actually Conrad's son, not Kevin's son. And then Brandon was the oldest son, but he got killed with Souza. And or when Souza and him got kidnapped, Maeve basically was gonna let Stevenson kill Souza. Not Souza. Serafina. My bad. Maeve was gonna let Stevenson kill Serafina, but he ended up killing Brandon. Right? And the only way that any of this worked itself out is because Harry reached out to Kat. So that's where we're at. So we're still trying to figure out who Kat is and why she's so powerful. But we do understand that Kat wants to take out Conrad and the family. Why, we don't know. What she's going to replace it with, we're not really sure. But Harry basically stood up to her, and I don't think that's going to go well. Conrad and Maeve are still in prison. Kevin is out here thinking that he's running stuff, and he's really not. And Eddie is spinning on the wheel. Stevenson is dead, and Harry's wife, Jan, stabbed him. Yeah, so now we're all caught up. Patty Considine acting and character arc got better and better as the season went on. This isn't easy to do for most writers of shows with secondary characters. Yeah, I mean, I think like it's yeah, I think what they had to do was like really ground the characters. Like it was so focused on Conrad and what was going on with him so much that they really had to ground them and give them their own kind of issues for them to overcome. And now that Kevin was able to move past that in a sense, now he kind of has like a nothing can hold me back type situation. I think before it was more of like he was ashamed, whether he forgot it happened or not. I think there was a shame with it, but now it's kind of like now that he feels like he's gotten rid of the problem, he's unleashed in a sense. The snitch lawyer died also. Yes, she did. We didn't. Did you know who the snitch was? Did you think you knew who it was? Because I didn't. I thought it was Maeve, to be honest with you. I didn't know it was going to be the lawyer. But that was good that they put her off. But not only did she die, but then you also had Alice die also, right? And Stevenson died. All the Stevensons died. So there's a lot of like pieces off the board to kind of roll into season 2. It's going to be interesting. So we talked about Harry, right? He's the fixer. And I mean, he's the main character. But then there's still a lot to kind of learn about him. We don't know about his past. We don't know about his family. We're still trying to figure out what motivates him. But then also, like, does he have fears or is he fearless, right? Would he be willing to stand up to Conrad for his family or not, right? And then he's always constantly putting out this idea of not of putting the family first, but the question is which family? His family, Conrad's family, the family he feels with Kevin, we're not sure. So me trying to understand this, I don't know if he's like a stray dog that's found an owner or if he's just kind of like a lone wolf. I'm really not sure. But I think either way it makes him dangerous. Now, like I was talking about, Kevin is still questionable because he's still kind of like, he doesn't like the fact that Harry doesn't tell him everything. But I don't think Harry tells anybody everything. But I guess Kevin feels like they should be close enough that he should get straight answers. But Kevin is so caught up on the day-to-day BS minuscule stuff. Harry's the one that has to kind of like figure out like, okay, what do we do next? How do we move forward? Stuff like that, keeping things in perspective. Which is why I don't think Kevin would make a good boss at the end of the day. But the question is, are they going to force Harry into becoming a boss? I don't know if that's the direction they're going in. But their dynamic, to see next season if it gets strained or not, right? If the secret with the wife, why did you go see my wife? Da, da, da. Like, I don't know if all of that is going to get played up next season. But, you know, right now, this is the tie that binds the family together. And I think without this, the family definitely falls apart. Then you got Conrad and Harry. And like I said, Conrad is always in this, you know, position of authority, of power, but he's losing it. Like, it's clear. Kat is pointing that out, like, yo, he ain't got it no more. The question is if Harry wants it, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Like, the table has to get cleared. And I mean, Harry can absolutely do it. It's just a matter if he wants to, right? And then it kind of brings me back to the point, the Game of Thrones with Jon Snow. I don't want it, right? But the question is, he may not have a choice. Raj said, RIP to the homie Kiko. Yeah, for sure. It will definitely be Harrigan versus Harrigan next season with Harry in the middle. Plus Kat. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, but I don't, it may be Harrigan versus Kat or something, like, I don't know. But yeah, Harry's definitely going to be in the middle. The question is, is all of this to prepare him to be the person to take over? Because the name of the show is Mobland. It's not the Harrigans, right? It's not Conrad. It's not Kevin. It's just Mobland. And the villain, Stevenson, is off the table now. So that's the question, like, who are the other sprouts that are going to come up? And then shout out to Serafina for holding her own. I mean, she's definitely, not only has she proven herself loyal to Conrad, but she's proven herself useful. The question is whether Kat is just going to use her or is she going to, you know, okay, I guess it's not the question is if she's going to use her, how? Is she going to use her against her dad? Is she going to use her to get her rich? Is she going to try to empower her? Is she going to use her as a proxy to overthrow them? I don't know. But Kat definitely seems to have the power in this situation. And Serafina, being as smart as she is, may recognize that the ship is sinking or the cards are falling. And then, you know, the other brother, Miranda, who died, which is crazy. So that brings us to Maeve. Always leering, always brooding, always doing something from a distance. And that whole kind of conversation that her and Conrad had was crazy. Dear you, I do it because you like that I do it. But the question is she as powerful as she thinks she is? And then it would be interesting to see if Kat and her have any type of history. Because it seems like Maeve is the type of person to know the players that's on the board, even when Conrad doesn't. So it'd be interesting. They don't necessarily got to be like related or anything, but it would definitely be interesting if they got history. Now, this is the relationship I'm worried about. Because I don't know if this is grooming. Like, I really don't know that dynamic between these two. I mean, I think Eddie's confused for sure. But I don't know what Maeve is trying to get out of this. Hell, to the point where she looked at dude and was like, "Yo, I'll be your queen." And Eddie was like, "How so? What are you talking about? Ain't you my grandmother?" Like, nah, I ain't your grandma. But I'll be your concubine. I don't know. But yes, I mean, Eddie is definitely a pawn. But I don't know if he's as loyal to her as she thinks. And wait, isn't this Bella? Or Gina? And with Gina being in the way, you know, Maeve might not be able to woo Eddie the way that she thinks. And also, it would be like, I don't know, if Maeve is just now kind of like hitting on Eddie at this point, it would be kind of weird. Like, why is my grandmother interested in me like this all of a sudden? I thought maybe it was like one of those deep-rooted things, like she'd been doing it for years and no one knew. But I don't know. It's just a weird Game of Thrones kind of dynamic. But then, you know, you got Gina in here, and obviously she knows that she can use them too. She can use Eddie, but I don't know if she will in the right way. Like, what is he just a boy toy, or is she like that smart enough to like get what she really wants out of him, which I'm not even sure she knows. I don't want my baby Seraphina caught up with any drama, but everything leads to Kat getting in her ear next season. Absolutely. Especially with Maeve admitting that she was going to get her killed. It's crazy. Shout out to Alice and Jan. I guess Jan won't have any friends going forward. Now, everyone's asking, like, why did Harry let Alice go? Maybe because he knew things were falling apart. Maybe because that's what he really wanted. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a good question. And I think it leads to the mystery of us trying to figure out, like, what's really going on with Harry and what's his real motivation. Like, he didn't do it out of, like, loyalty to Jan. It seemed like he did it out of loyalty to himself to get what he really wants. And he doesn't have soldiers or the loyalty or the respect of Conrad. Exactly. Or Harry's soldiers to turn them. Kevin's wife's vengeance on her father was not needed in the storyline at all. Again, I think it was just to give these side characters more to do so that they didn't just feel like fluff. I don't know if that adds to the credence of why Kevin's wife was cool with her. I think her name is Bella. I don't know if Bella's whole relationship with her dad and, you know, being like abused by him, if that lends any credence of why she was okay with being like what she was to Conrad. It's very possible, like a cycle of thing, and then she basically had to like choose, like, oh, I think she said that at the end to Kevin, like, okay, I choose you type situation. But I mean, once Conrad gets out of jail, we'll see how that really goes. But again, it might have just been like to give her like a more of a history of why she was used to being manipulated by older men. Now, what did y'all think about Stevenson? Because I mean, do you feel like he got the short end of the stick? Do you feel like he was a good like opponent, or do you feel like he was just like bare bones? I mean, he lost a lot though. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Excuse me. He lost his son. He lost his wife in front of him. He lost a lawyer. He lost all his troops. Like, he lost everybody. So, do you think he was a worthy opponent? Or do you think he was just like the person standing in the way? And then I also want to just like understand the dynamic with all these, like, let's call them like bosses. Like, do they have a hierarchy? Do they all follow like a certain code? Or is it just kind of like street war? Still not clear about that. And I kind of want to see if they had history, if they had to come up together and didn't like each other, if they were friends at first, if they wasn't, if Conrad took Maeve from him. Like, there's so many questions that I have that we need a backstory on. And even though he's not alive anymore, I hope we get that information. Then obviously we got Kat. And, you know, she's definitely going to be the force for next season. And I don't think she's just going to let Harry slide off that comment of, you know, I choose my family. Like, I'm surprised she let dude walk out of there. She seems very scary, but then I hope she's scary. Like, I hope she's not like just like a politician or something. Like, I hope like she's like really a person that'll get down to the nitty gritty. I'm hoping, because I think that's what the show needs to kind of elevate it. Stevenson was good until he wasn't. It was obviously he wasn't going to win. He was a worthy adversary, in my opinion. Yeah, especially like as a contrast to Conrad. But like, I think we need somebody kind of like young and fresh, you know, kind of just like, I don't care. And forget the old rules. Like, we need like a millennial to come in and be like, forget it. Right. And then you got this dude who his name is close. It's not Tattletale. It's Tattersall. It's close to Tattletale. Tattersall. This dude didn't get the job done. He was supposed to keep the Conrads, or not the Conrads, keep the Harrigans in jail. He was supposed to, you know, help Stevenson take over. And the only thing he did was kill Alice. And that's the other question. Like, is this dude even like a worthy opponent? I don't know. Or is he just an accessory? I feel like we need like a Raymond Reddington or something in the show to just kind of like elevate it. I think the show overall is like well grounded. And it was a fun watch. It's a fun binge for sure. 10 episodes. I don't think you'll get bored. Stay on the edge of your seat. It's definitely worth it. I'm just curious of where it goes next season. You know, hell of good writing, hell of good acting, superb caliber of characters. I just needed to go deeper, and I needed to get grittier. Because it's like they're drug dealers, like they're all of that, all of the above, right? So don't like make it look like they're just like politicians trying to keep their nose clean. Like, No, I want to see all of it. And I want to see like who's going to do what and why. And is Harry going to take over? Like that's my motivation for season 2. Is Harry going to take over? That's it. That's all I care about. If not, then whatever. But if he is, though, is he going to do it on his own? Or is he going to do it because Kat is making him do it? What grade number ranking would you give the entire season of Mobland? It's a good question. Season 1s are really hard. I think with the 10 episodes, I did really enjoy how they wrapped everything out in episode 10. The beast in me. I thought the funeral was crazy. Antwerp was crazy. Them going to jail was crazy. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna just give it a. I'm gonna just give it an A. I'm gonna give it an A straight up. I'll give it an A. I don't have an issue. Like to me, it's not an A plus. It's not an A plus. It's not like perfect. There's a lot to be done with it, but the way that they kept it grounded and interesting, it's an A. It's a solid A. I would recommend it. Absolutely. I don't have any big issues. The characters are fine. I don't like question why anyone's doing what they're doing. I think we just need more. It is, to me, it is missing something that I haven't really figured out what it is that'll like take this like beyond like an A. But I'll just, for now, I'll give it a solid A. And anyone that is interested in it, I would definitely recommend them watching it. But you know that I also think about Power. But when I watch Power, like I've watched all of Power or like The Wire or Sopranos, like those shows are like done. So like you put that all like in a vacuum together and kind of grade it. I think it needs a little bit more grit, and I think I would be happier with it. Like in some flashbacks. I just have in my mind that like Harry's dad is just like wailing on him like after school every day or something. Like I need something to just understand what makes Harry tick. I mean, dude got stabbed in the chest and was just like, it's fine. I'm gonna go sit down. Like, yo, you need a doc? No, I'm okay. I'm gonna just go sit down and have a laugh about it. It's fine. And to be that numb, like we need to know more. I'm afraid season 2 will have too much hype and the writers will get away from how grounded season 1 is. And anything's possible. Hell, at this point, you know, Harry could really be Ethan Hunt and he could be a double agent and be ready to take out everybody. We don't know. Anything is possible. But I think they do need to kind of expand the world a little bit and make it a little bit darker. Right? Like the Cotswold, I just kept thinking like in my mind, I'm like, yo, you know, every time like you go blow up someone's apartment, no one died. Like, you know, like they're going to the Cotswold. Like, just take a missile launcher and just shoot at the house. Like, even if you only got one and like you miss, like that, I just kept thinking that like, why are you not trying to blow up the mansion. Like, you know they're at the mansion. But, like, I need somebody that's going to be willing to do that. I don't know why. But I just, like, oh, you see all these 4 cars coming out the driveway. Shoot all of them up. Like they should have been bunkered down at the Cotswold. Like barricade the windows. Don't peek out to the sun. None of that. Like, I needed all of that. It's a metaphor how emotional, detached, and numb he is, except for his loyalty, which is one of the easiest emotions to have or not have. Yeah, which brings me to my point. Like, is he a stray dog? Is he a lone wolf? I don't know. But we need more. My favorite episode was definitely Antwerp, because, like, the brother was just like, yo, we gotta get these diamonds, and I'm gonna be back in my good graces. And they didn't have no clue what was coming. And Harry is like flying in like a secret agent trying to stop them. And, now he gotta call and make calls, and like, even Conrad ain't sanctioning it. Like, that was my favorite episode. But I do like how they wrapped everything up at the end. But I'll put it in the chat. What's your favorite? What's your favorite moment of Mobland season 1? And I don't know. I mean, it's like I think about Sopranos. I think about The Wire. I think about Scandal. Like, I think about all of these shows. And, like, there was some kind of, like, absurdity to it, but then there was also just, like, a mystery to it. And every episode was just like, we're gonna reveal, like, a new mystery. And I think for me, the 10 episode format, it felt like, I don't feel like I got a complete book. Like, I felt like I got, like, maybe 2 chapters of a book, and I don't know what the rest of the story is, if that makes sense. Like Game of Thrones, like, you understand by episode 10 like what you're getting out of this, and where everyone else is in Mobland. Is it just House of Cards? Like, and I'm still not sure. That doesn't mean don't go watch it. That doesn't mean you won't enjoy it. But I still have questions. And that's interesting to feel that way after a complete season. Yeah. Let's see. Now, also, just last point with Maeve. Do y'all feel like she's gonna do y'all feel like they about to last? Cause I really don't know. Like, Maeve is just like, if you're Conrad, do you get rid of Maeve? Like, she's a snake in the grass. And I think it's clear at this point. Right? Shout out to London. Do you think do you just get rid of Maeve? I don't know. Y'all let me know. But I really did appreciate the show. It was Paramount, so maybe it also didn't have a lot of high expectations, but it's definitely worth watching, and definitely something that I highly recommend. If especially if you're not like watching anything, if you're not caught up in Last of Us and all of that stuff, like this is, and because all the episodes are out now, you could just binge it. It's dope. The weird dynamic with Maeve and Conrad is that they helped make each other, if that makes sense. I don't think you can have one without the other. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's kind of what bothers me about like the best friend, because I felt like there was something there with the best friend. Like there's something about Conrad there with the best friend that we kind of just like skipped over because they got rid of him so quick. And the fact that like Maeve was just like, yeah, get rid of him. Why? Like, I don't know. I just have questions. I have questions. And Maeve has a weird dynamic with everybody. Yeah. But I think that's all I got as far as Mobland. Those that was my favorite episode. Those were my favorite points about these characters. Um, the question is, how soon are we gonna get a second season? Like, if we had to wait 3 years for this, I don't know, man. I hope this is something that they can, crank out at least every 2 years, at the minimum, right? But if you haven't seen it, let me know if it's on your radar. I think the only other thing, there's nothing else really to talk about. The only other movie that I'm planning on watching soon, I guess Ballerina. I guess I have to try to figure that whole John Wick world out. I've seen like the first three. I've never seen four, and I think Ballerina is supposed to take place in between them. I don't know. I think there's certain people that are attached to John Wick more than I am. So yeah, I'll watch it just because people are going to talk about it. And How to Train Your Dragon, I'm interested to see how they adapt that to live action. And that's pretty much it for this month, man. Let me know in the comments if there's something y'all are watching, or if y'all are just getting caught up on something. Like I said earlier, my dad just was able to watch Sinners and really enjoyed it. So that we had a fun conversation. And even if it's like something you guys watch later on, you can always come back and have a conversation about it. Even if it's a couple weeks old, couple months old, couple years old, like let's talk about it. Other than that, I may be trying to plan. I'm figuring out how to do like live stream from my phone, so you may catch one or two of those this month. And we got up to 53 followers. And like I said, we can have a whole feat discussion if we get up to 100. That's something I'll do for y'all. Appreciate y'all rocking with me for 3 hours and 12 minutes. That's insane. shout out to the Midnight Boys on the Ringerverse. I hope y'all appreciated that. Reacting to their video for Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, but also go check them out, man. They're like a real podcast. You know, they're on the Ringerverse, but then, you know, they got audio and all of that stuff. So check them out, man. They're really entertaining. Van and Charles and Jomi. And I always forget the other dude's name. But shout out to him too, because he's important too. And me, I'm just your boy, Lundeezy, aka Better Late Than Never. And yeah, we did start kind of late, but I did appreciate y'all rocking with me. A lot of this was spoilers. I'll come and put timestamps on it and stuff later, make it easier to navigate. But I love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Happy hump day. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk soon. Peace.